Hello. Do we have anyone here? What's up, guys? All right. Give me 1 second. We're pulling up the bracket and boom. All right, welcome back, everyone. So today I'm going to be casting some OCE games. My plan is to just follow along Antic Esports, to be honest. They're the only ones I have added, ready to go. And they're the ones I'm most interested in watching. So we're just going to watch their run. If we have to wait on them because there's some lower bracket games, maybe I'll try to message one of the players in between. Or we'll just restream the official cast. Either way, you know, we'll figure it out. But it's going to be a bit of a scuffed stream, but I'm excited for it. Look at this. We have our waiting screen, you know. It looks like they're actually in game. So we can actually hop into game. Look at that. Waiting for teams. Isn't that so professional looking? It's in a box too. And then we can move straight into game. Boom. We're starting off with the winners semifinals between Antic Esports and Team Dodo. Technically, they're named Dodo 2, but we dropped the 2. We're going to have Leafeon, Hoopa, Gyarados, Inteleon, Snorlax for Antic, Slowbro, Mew, Buzzwole, Eldegoss, and one of the evolutions for Team Dodo. Anon in the central area as Leafeon. Going to be starting off with the Xatu. Going to see how their jungle clear is going to end up going. Might see a 1 buff into top. On the other side, it's a Sylveon as their evolution. They're waiting for 945, so they have optimal experience. That way they can hit their level 4 to go top. Top side, it's going to be Buzz Eld versus Magikarp Hoopa. Magikarp, definitely really strong Pokemon, recently got buffed. Buzzwole recently got nerfed. He's going to find that the enemy team is 1 buffing. There's a non ready to go on the 1 buff gank. Focus band on the Buzz, not enough to keep them alive. Who's going to go down, but they do get a trade. Trade's obviously really good for Magikarp. This way they can get Gyarados online just a little bit faster. That's looking good. Razor Leaf, the move selection for Anon on the Leafeon. That's going to be fun to watch. And you'll see both the teams sending their attacker in to clear the rest of that central area that those EVs left behind. This is very typical jungle splitting in competitive. No variation really here to that play. Defenders left to 1v1 on the bot side. And we're going to see a 4-man 4v4 fight on the top side of the map here. Gyarados already online thanks to the assist that they got earlier. They're going to go with Dragon Breath Bounce. They've got Hoopa for their resets. And this is a part of the game where both teams are basically fighting to get stacked up. And because both teams have 4, neither side is going to get their stacks. But had either team been at a disadvantage here, it would have been harder for them to get stacked on the Buzz and Gyarados respectively. So good play by both teams. They're going to retreat over. Looks like these teams did their homework. It's good to see. And we're going to see the bottom 2v2 end up collapsing here. Inteleon definitely a little bit favored on the farm thanks to Water Gun in its last hitting there. Well done by Challenge to get that as well. Might see a level 7 for mid Bs. On the top side, Gyarados did end up going down. Looks like the Sylveon was able to get a knockout and rotation early on them. Red buff onto Anon. He's going to be forced to eject. That's going to put them out of position for the central area Bs for the Altaria spawn here. So that's going to be advantage Dodo. They get these Altaria. Might see Challenge get a snipe on it. Nice block by Knight there to ensure that they don't get that. Snipe a little bit off the mark. And these teams are going to end up retreating. Basically both sides looking to farm, get their stacks up. Top side a little bit weak for Antic. Bottom side a little weak for Dodo. So both of these teams doing pretty well to keep up an experience. Slight advantages on opposite sides. Challenge looking at almost level 8. Almost 1 full level up on their counterpart. That's nice to see. Another 3 versus 3 fight might break out on the top side of the map here. I want to pay attention to these EVs. They're both kind of mirroring their positioning. You see the all-rounders on the top side. Buzz not able to actually get too much there. It looks like Anon was able to pick up most of that. Level 7 for Anon versus level 7 on Knight. So the EVs are matched. They're going to both try to get their level 8, unlock their Unite moves for the first objective of the game. And we'll see how these teams want to play. I imagine both these all-rounders are really hungry for stacks. Sulu's going to get potentially caught out there. Nice bounce to be able to unstoppable the Buzzwole's superpower and then retreat back into a well-placed super portal from Liz. And Dodo's going to start over the top side fight. The Regieleki is going down. Last hit, though, does favor a side of Antic because they have the snipe shot ready to go versus beam from Mew. And no, Anon's going to actually get that with the Razor Leaf. They've got the advantage with the Regieleki. They want to push this in to get Gyarados some stacks if possible. Leafeon some stacks as well. Razor Leaf out, pulls in the Razor Leaf, goes for that Unite move. Emerald 2-step from Anon. Not quite enough to get that damage done. A lot of healing on their pad. No anti-healing for these players on the top side. I wonder if the Hoopa adapted this game and put on anti-heal. One of the really important things you can do as a support or defender is equip that Curse, Incense, or Bangle if your team's lacking it, if your damage dealers need other items. And it's definitely a fine item to run on Hoopa, as Hoopa's going to end up going down to that Mew boosted auto and mystical fire damage. And let's see, can Dodo apply the pressure to go for a push here? Mew's on coaching. Typical, you know, friendship kind of composition we saw Kabi-chans do, where they ran around with Eldegoss Mew, and they had the coaching to constantly provide them with movement speed and attack speed and some cooldown reduction. Nice to see that Mew gameplay coming to OCE as well. But bottom side's going to fizzle out. Both teams just trying to secure as much experience as they can. Challenge level 9, full level up still on their counterpart. Bottom Reggie untouched. It's been up for 1:30 now. Teams are happy to take Regieleki and then retreat into farming. There's that superpower grab onto Anon. Anon's going to end up going down. Unite move from Sulu on the Gyarados, but it's going to be a little late. Does still end up catching out the Buzzwole. Buzzwole forced to use their Unite move. Is there a Hoopa portal that can save us? No, we've got the eject on the side of Gyarados. A lot of resources being used. Only the Leafeon ends up going down. Not too bad of an exchange, but Dodo definitely aren't disappointed with that. Bottom side of the map, we see Robbie on that Snorlax. He's going to get slow beam. Does he have enough time to get his Unite move off? He can't get his power nap off. So nice damage placed from the side of Dodo to bring down that Snorlax, the first line of defense for this bottom pad. Challenges here, force uses a Unite move. Very Frolic as well, used on the side of Sylveon to keep them going. Mystical Fire, that Draining Kiss, not quite enough damage onto Anon to bring them down on the Leafeon. So Antic Esports able to hold their bottom pad. It is at 27. But these bottom pads are definitely really important for sniper type of Pokemon in the end game. Challenge is going to want to be able to retreat to this bottom fight while this Rayquaza is spawned up if they get into any danger. So it's good to see Antic Esports prioritizing keeping that pad alive. It is really important. And it is well played by Dodo as well to try to slow beam that Snorlax, get them out of the way. But good defense on that side. Anon's going to get their 40 cap. That's going to break that enemy bottom pad, give Antic a little bit more room to breathe. The other side, can Liz get the stop on tonight? They do. Well played on that Phantom Force. Hoopa Unite move. It's the 4-minute mark. Good time for these Unite moves to be used out. If you don't use it now, you won't have them available for Ray. Sylveon's going to be the first one to go down. They didn't have their Unite from that push earlier. Dodo's going to retreat. This should open up some space for Antic to either keep the pressure on or go for the top Regieleki. It looks like they're going to keep pushing the pad here as much as they can. Anon looks to go for their score. Not able to get it. Sulu with that bounce, recently buffed to provide that knock-up straight out of bounds, as opposed to needing to previously apply that debuff from Dragon Breath. Expertly, you know, mastering that Pokemon after a patch that we just had a few days ago. Sulu's going to get that slow beam used out from that Slowbro. That's what you pick the Slowbro for, to lock down these melee Pokemon. Snorlax did rotate up from the bot side, though, to match the Slowbro's rotation. Liz is going to end up going down. Can Anon make it out? Razor Leaf and Aerial Ace is in. Not able to secure that KO onto the Mew. Robbie still has their Unite move if they need to stall out this top head. We're going to see Heavy Slam into Unite. Nice Heavy Slam. Can they get their Unite before the Buzz Cap? Not quite. A little bit too late. Nice snipe in the midst of all of that from the Australian Sniper Challenge. He did really well at EUIC in London. I think a lot of people were impressed, and he really put OC on the map with his Inteleon gameplay, and he's bringing it back here. Jan definitely helps him set it up, but that was a nice find in the entire team fight there. This should open up some space. Antic is just looking to break this pad. They don't get the big cap from the Snorlax, but getting it on the Gyarados is solid. Gives them some attack weight stacks and brings their Unite move back a little bit faster. So we're looking at a roughly 50-60 point lead on the side of Antic Esports. They've got this Regieleki pressuring. This might open up some space for them to go for the bottom Regirock if they want that. Otherwise, they're going to get set up with some positioning in the central area. Their job is to defend Rayquaza and defend their caps. They can do that for 2 minutes. They'll be winners of the first game here of the April Cup OCE Finals. As we see both teams approaching the central area, Snorlax and Slowbro. First lines of defense for both of their teams. Mew's gonna get that blue buff. We find the Sylveon off the yawn and an expertly placed portal as well from Liz to get that damage. And Buzzwole make anything happen. This is where Antic's gonna want to keep the pressure on. Buzzwole force user Unite move. Anon's gonna actually end up going down throughout all of that. Eject as well, force out the side of Buzz. Power nap from Robbie in the enemy central area just to try to keep things at bay. They're just trying to win time. 30 seconds go by. Dodo still not able to advance their game state. Almost grabs it from the side of Stu on the challenge with that smackdown, and not quite. Challenge is looking for these snipes, and this is where we're going to find Sulu on his Unite move. Finds two members right before the slow beam connects. They're going to be able to survive that slow beam as well. Robbie ends up slamming into a bush, takes that Hoopa portal to get back into the fight. Sulu's going to bounce away, keeps that shield alive to keep their Pokemon healthy. Anon is getting low, but looks like they're going to be able to retreat as well. Nice yawn from the side of Robbie on that Snorlax. Going to chase down the Slowbro. 1 minute left, still a 50 to 60 point game. These teams are not allowing for any room to breathe. Antic doing a good job chasing down. Challenge with the Fell Stringer. Looks for the no scope. Doesn't quite get it. There is a portal though. They're able to retreat. Are they going to look to come back through this portal? Mew is set up here. Not quite. Suluwu's going to get smacked down by the Buzzwole, but nice peel from the side of Robbie. Absorbs that superpower as well. Buzzwole with these nerfs also unable to completely reset their moves. Does find Anon. Anon's got that eject. Razor Leaf damage as well. 30 seconds left. Antic Esports doing a really good job protecting their pads. They understand that they just need to play the score game now. Rayquaza is no longer in play. Reset. Sulu's going to get their 80, and that should be game number 1 on the side of Antic. Gyarados, really, really strong Pokemon now. I think after the buffs to Gyarados, as well as after the nerfs to Buzz, we're going to see the top side where we might have considered it to be dominated by Buzz and Blast last patch. I think this patch top side is going to be dominated by Blaziken and Gyarados. Both of these Pokemon are such good carries in the late game that they can really take over the end game if they get their stacks and if they get their levels. And that's what the EVs are for, right? The EVs bring these Pokemon online. You saw one side had Leafeon, one side had Sylve. They had their carries on the top side, but Buzz being recently nerfed, as well as Leafeon being the superior EV, I did prefer Antic's draft here. So nice to see. Good solid game 1. See, what were the bans? Blast Tree bans, Russell Umbreon. So Antic looking to take away some of these defender Pokemon that can be really annoying for the Gyarados in the early game, especially even throughout the late game. These defenders typically go to the top side of the map. They're not really too worried about the Buzz anymore. And they actually were first pick. Didn't ban the Buzz. Neither side banned the Buzz. They took the Leaf in exchange for Buzz. And yeah, I think that's correct. I don't think we're going to be seeing a lot of Buzzwole anymore after the nerfs. Cool. Game number 1 is a wrap. All right, we're just waiting on the games to start, guys. How good is Eld post nerfs? Is it just too important to have a range support right now? I think Eld is still fine, and I think having a range support is really good, yes. I'm going to be casting the EU Cup tomorrow as well as the NA, guys. Let me show you guys a little sneak peek, you know, for the late night stream watchers. Check out what I was working on this evening. Check this out. So obviously this is unlikely to happen for one team to get every objective, but I made it a little objective tracker. Doesn't that look cool? Regice and Regieleki. I need to do... I have the other ones made, the other sprites. I just need to set them up in my streaming software. But it looks good. And then obviously I'll have orange borders for the orange side. For those of you guys that don't know, this Regice and the Regi Trio sprites I got are doll sprites from Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald. They look so good. They look like better than any other in-game sprite I've seen. It's like a small little Regice doll that you can tell immediately is Regice. Yeah, we're working on the production quality here. Yeah, it's not quite ready for tonight. Hopefully I'll have it ready for tomorrow though. Oh, looks like Fui is playing some Gyarados and scrims. Is there any use to change standards to casual? I think it probably helps mentally to explain to people that there's like a casual game mode and a not casual game mode, right? That's kind of what that makes it. It's almost a little confusing if there's a standard and then non-standards is ranked, as if ranked isn't like the standard way to play, right? So I think casual is a better way to describe it, to be honest. Japan April qual is going to start too. Yeah, I think I'm going to skip day 1 for Japan and we'll watch day 2 for Japan, which is tomorrow night. Here's a bracket for you guys. You can see over here, Antic is up 1 game against Dodo. Here's the other teams over here. Leave that up there. Yeah, we're sitting in, this is one of the Inder University rooms. Obviously we have a couple rooms here at Inder University, right? We have the classroom, obviously. We even have we got the podium, right? You guys also might be familiar with the hospital for all our mentally ill patients. But yeah, right now we're in the classroom. We're watching. It looks like game 2 is ready. I think they're playing the same Pokemon as well. So this game we have challenged. He's back on the Inteleon, Gyarados, Hoopa, Glaceon instead of the Leafeon for Antic, and Robbie is on the Trevenant instead of Snorlax. So Snorlax got picked away by Buzz. Buzz named Buzz, not playing Buzz, so don't get confused. On the side of Dodo, Dodo 2, D2. We also have a Lucario, Eldegoss, Mew, and I believe that was another Sylveon. Sylveon once again? That is Sylveon once again. So they're going to have their Sylveon just complete lane bottom. Mew's going to full out the jungle. On the side of Antic, we have Glaceon. They're probably going to do maybe some 1 buff shenanigans or 2 buff. Bottom side challenge is back on that Inteleon. Chemical thing for the Prime.
Inder Baltoy, Inder Spin, Inder Yap, Inder Bow, Inder Yoink, Inder Cheer, Inder Clap, Inder Lick, Inder JAM.
Awesome. Anon's on the Gyarados assignment instead of Sulu. They're just trading. Tries to get that KO. A little bit just too slow from the side of our Glaceon for them to get out of the jungle fast enough to help secure that assist. Not able to get that on the side of the Gyarados. That's okay though. You know, worse things have happened. They can always recover from there. Lucario on the top side. We don't get to see this Pokemon a whole lot. I think after that last game of Buzzwole, they weren't pretty confident in it anymore. And I imagine Antic's probably banned out Blastoise and Tree. So that leaves Pokemon like Blaziken, I think, is probably the most popular Pokemon you'd see in that role. But Lucario is not that bad. They do go for Power Up Punch. They get that straight onto the Gara. Nice block on that boosted auto to prevent the Mew damage from going through. Another four-player rotation on the top side of the map. Good Magician Berry to keep their team alive from the side of the Hoopa. And again, both of these teams, they want to have this four-player rotation to enable some stacks for their carries from the guys at Gyarados or the Luca. But if both teams do it, then neither team can stack essentially. This game though, it is a little bit late on the Gyarados evolution. Can Magikarp survive? Can Anon just get their evolution? Not able to flail in time, and it's going to end up going on. Tough start for the Gyarados lane this game. The other side of the map though, Challenge keeping up pace a little bit ahead of their counterpart on the Sylve. Central Area Altaria gonna be prioritized by Dodo. Dodo, both games now, they've had priority on it, but it looks like Sulu was able to sneak and steal that with Freeze Dry, so nicely done by them. Still don't quite have this Gyarados. Usually, you know, by the 8-minute mark, if you can have it for that mid Altaria, it's really good. If you can have it by the second set of Bs, which spawn at 720, that's also okay. Anything later than that though, you're in a lot of trouble. So they're online, that's okay. They are definitely under leveled though, 2 levels down to their counterpart, 5 to 7. Power Up Punch onto Liz. Stu is gonna look for some damage here. Force user eject as Sulu finds that bounce. That's that buffed bounce, getting that knock up. Dragon Breath, another bounce. This time it's gonna be met by a close combat from the side of Stu. And Anon's gonna be forced to eject. That Pollen Puff does end up triggering. They get the KO. This is the third time Anon's gone down on the Gyarados. Gyarados definitely having a tough start this game. But they match that KO with Luca going down, and we're gonna get another reset. Looks like these teams are kind of trading out stacks. Definitely Dodo has a slight advantage here in the early game in terms of experience, stacks as well. But Antic Esports is set up on this top side objective, and they secure this Regieleki snipe shots being channeled, and they combo that with the Dragon Breath on the side of Gyarados, get that secure. Robbie on the other side, 1 versus 2 on the bottom part of the map. They're looking level 7, equal XP to the Snorlax. What they're doing here is engaging that Regice. That way it walks out and hopefully gets healed, and the enemy team isn't able to secure it. Dodo, though, does get in position, and they're going to start ripping down this objective. See what work Robbie can do. Misses the Woodhammer, not able to move away Tom 1 on that. They have the Pain Split. Woodhammer's going to be up. Is going to be up soon enough? Not quite. Snipe Shot also not there. Challenge a little bit late on that rotation. And looks like Dodo is looking for a play. Eject from the Lucario, trying to find something with that close combat. A little bit off the mark. Stu has no AOS energy as well to look for any scores. Eldegoss keeping their team alive with that Pollen Puff and Con Guard. Nice flank from the side of Anon on the Gyarados. Finds it with that Dragon Current, that Unite move from Gyarados. And it looks like, can they chase down this Lucario? He does have his Unite move now. Not quite enough. Anon's going to be level 10 off of that. KO Shiga 2 to the side of the Gyarados. And does Antic Esports have enough resources to keep this push up? They go for that bounce, not quite on the mark, and they're going to probably retreat. A lot of farm up. Topside Altaria is up. Half of their central area is still up. And we see Icy Wind Glaceon. We didn't get to talk about this very much, but I feel like this is an effect of the teams playing at London. You know, Antic Esports, they were the OCE representatives at EUIC a couple weeks ago. And we saw Nemesis, one of the top NA teams, Kabi-chan's from Japan. A lot of the teams incorporate Icy Wind Glaceon back into the meta, and looks like we're seeing more of that come into play here from Sulu and Antic. I think it's a solid build, gives them good, decent amount of secure, some good damage, mobility as well, a nice late game Pokemon insurance. And Trevenant Unite catches 3 members on the side of Dodo from Robbie, and hold down this pad. Eldegoss Unite move forced to use as well. Con Guard keeping their team alive. Inteleon Unite baited out. And Yawn on the side of this Gyarados. They're going to fall asleep, but there's a nice reset to keep them alive. Nice snipe shots as well from the side of Challenge. But neither of these teams able to break this bottom pad. Both teams have 5 members down here playing defense. And On goes in with the bounce. He's able to find 2. Gets Yawn in exchange. So force the user eject to get out. Nice snipe shot to Buzz on the Snorlax. They're going to get away with 1 health. And that's pretty much it. I think both these teams are going to retreat. Snipe shot again from the side of Challenge. He just can't miss. Can he find another one? Boom. Finds the Eld as well. And Liz on the top side, gonna bring their team up to get this Regieleki underway. So there is Stu who might be in position to look for a steal. We'll see how that ends up playing out. Bottom side, Challenge is gonna secure that Reggie steal for their team. Snipe Shot's gonna get blocked out by the Snorlax. He has to go for an auto attack, basics attack secure. Robbie's there with that Wood Hammer off the damage from the Inteleon basics. And they hold their bottom pad though. Electro Ball used as well. I think Challenge should be out alive. Topside Regieleki goes to Antic Esports as well. Both side objectives. Here's this Hoopa Unite move. 330 last time for them to use it before Rayquaza spawns. So they're gonna bring down their team while Dodo is occupied with that Regieleki on the top side. Nice bounce from Anon, catches out that Eldegoss. And Robbie's gonna do their best job on Trevenant to zone as many members as they can. 50 points for Anon, and that's gonna be another attack weight stack. Gonna put up their team by 130 points going into Rayquaza with 1 minute left before that spawns. Dodo still forced to clear that Regieleki. They've got their central area up. So their way back into this game is gonna have to be, they look for some trades at Rayquaza. They have the faster respawn, and they want to have a dirty fight here. You know, you don't want to just lose 2 members of your team and then Antic Esports pulls a Rayquaza and you have to go for an unadvantaged secure. Like they want, you know, do like maybe a 3-for-2 trade, have faster respawns, come back alive, hyper voice the Ray, maybe pick 1 more Pokemon on the other team, and then try to secure that with Power Up Punch. That's going to be their best bet. And Antic Esports knows that Rayquaza is their only real win condition here. And they're trying to apply some pressure a little bit early on. Nice job by Liz to get that portal reset for Anon. And Anon's going to get back into position as Gyarados. They want to keep the pressure on here. Buzz forced to retreat. No, they're going to get their Pollen Puffs from their Eldegoss. And these 2 teams are set up in the central area. Let's see if Robbie can find an engage off their Wood Hammer, or if they're just going to choose to let Dodo make the first move. And Dodo's in a weird position. They need to find some opening either with a back cap or to pull Ray, but they're just getting sniped over and over again. Robbie's going to get some damage onto him. Anon gets caught out though. Heavy Slam into Yawn. Eldegoss Unite move forced out. This might be the start of Dodo's flip. They're going to Power Up Punch on top of this. Rayquaza. Stu's getting really low. Con Guard with Sulu finds a snipe. Mew forced to use their Unite move in the middle of that. Challenge gets isolated though. They're going to go down on the side of Inteleon. Finally, Liz uses that Rings Unbound, but there's no teammates really left to bring alive. Rayquaza on 50% HP. Tom1 on the Sylveon. They're looking to burst this down. They have the Mew Electro Ball secure. Can they find it? Boosted auto a little bit early. They need a little bit more damage. Electro Ball, not quite enough, but they get it on the side of Buzz with the Snorlax. They still need 2 scores. Anon's back here with their Unite move to be able to burn these shields. 1 score on the side of Dodo. 30 points roughly separates these 2 teams. Can Anon find the damage onto the Snorlax and break their shield? There's a Mew as well who's rotating around to get some points. Yawn as well. Does Anon have the damage? They do. They break that shield. 30 points left to go. Dodo still has a full shield on the side of this Mew. This Mew is wrapping around. Pressure being alleviated from the Snorlax to open that up. Both 100s going down on the opposite sides of the map. And Antic Esports down by 200 points. They're going to need to find some scores, but they're really low on the bottom side. Liz is looking for a score. Deltaria don't quite catch up, but there is a jump pad on the side of Lucario to stop that. And I think Antic Esports probably runs out of time here. 20 seconds left. Maybe they can make something happen. They do get 2 KOs. Can they find the KO on the side of the Mew as well? They have 10 seconds to make this happen. 9, 8. These scores aren't going to be enough. Even if Challenge can manage to get this, they do. But it's just not enough points for Antic. Good try in the end. Try to bring it back. But Dodo's going to tie it up 1-1. All right, and just like that, Antic Esports, they were doing really well game 1. They had control of game number 2 as well, but kind of slipped away from them. Anon getting caught out early on that Gyarados into the fight just getting messy. That's what I said. If Dodo was going to have a way back into the Ray fight, it was going to be through a messy fight, and that Sylveon getting to burn down the Rayquaza when the fight gets really messy. And then, you know, they had the numbers advantage, they had the secure advantage as well. Challenge got isolated on that Inteleon. They got caught out. And that was the end for Antic in game number 2. Got Inteleon who did pretty well challenge. Anon managed to get a lot of damage done. I mean, they had control of this game. Antic Esports did, but it slipped away at the end. Leafeon ban. Antic Esports was second pick. They didn't want to give up that Leafeon. Like they banned Blastoise from both sides. And Dodo electing to ban Umbreon from both sides. Russell bans as well. And Snorlax being picked both games this series. Snorlax, the only Pokemon in this set, I think, to have 100% win rate so far. It's won both game 1 and 2. So maybe Snorlax is the key. Abigon is back. I'm excited. All right, let's get back into the classroom. While we wait for these teams to get started. Any predictions on who is likely to win here? So Antic Esports, they're definitely the favorites of the whole cup. They were the OCE representatives at London a couple weeks ago. They got second in the March Cup, first in the February play-ins. So they're the team that's by far ahead in the standings in terms of points. They're the number 1 seed. It's either between them and Ground Zero as the 1 and 2 for OCE, and I'll show you guys a bracket here as well. And you see Ground Zero, they're up in their game as well. But anything can happen. Anything can happen ever. Antic Esports, they're gonna want to make sure that they go through the winners bracket though. Definitely a lot scarier to have to make your run through the lower bracket. Cool. Here's waiting, guys. Waiting for these teams to get ready and back in the game. Dodo to your goats. Damn. We're just anti-antic. The DQ at top 8 in a 19-team tourney. It is what it is. It is what it is. I place my water bottle on the desk. Sorry for interrupting the cast. No, it's cool. Thank you for the prime. I appreciate it. Do I have Battlefy? It's in the description of the YouTube video or !mark bracket in Twitch. This is Legend reappears month. Are they gonna pull it off? I don't know. They're 1-1 as well. So if we look at the bracket, guys, both winner semifinals are 1-1 right now. It could go either way. In Pokemon Unite, anything could happen. Literally anything could happen. See, where are these teams at? Not quite yet. Does OC get 1 or 2 teams? They get 2 teams. They get the #1 team in points and the winner of their regionals. You want to see Antic versus Ground Zero so bad? I mean, that's a 1 and 2 seed basically. Dodo 2 versus LDR. Just rooting for the underdog teams. True. Oh, we're ready to go. All right, Antic's going with the same draft, huh? They're running it back on the Gyarados Intel. Anon's back on the Gyarados, Challenge back on the Intel, Tree, Hoopa, and Glaceon. So they got the same 5 picks as last game. Despite losing their game, Antic's going to run it back. And then Dodo, they've got a similar draft as well. Sylveon, Mew, Eld this time. Instead of Snorlax, though, they're going to go with Slow Bro, which had in game #1 when they lost, and Machamp. The Stew's gone from going Buzzwole, Lucario to now Machamp. We'll see if they can make anything happen with Machamp, but much of the same kind of orientation from both of these teams. We're going to see Sulu in that central area. They're going to look to help potentially with that 1 buff onto the top side of the map. Knight's going to go with Mew Jungle while they have this Sylveon on the bottom half, and then Machamp, Eldegoss on the top side to match this Gyarados Hoopa. Bottom, middle Audino, middle Indeedee goes to the side of that Slowbro. Top side, Anon's just going to be looking to get a trade here, build up that effort gauge, and look for some splash autos. Zulu is here with that 1 buff. They're here to secure some farm for their team. Stu forced to use her eject, finds that Glaceon. And the rest of that middle central area farm is going to go to challenge on the Inteleon. A little bit early on that blue buff. Looks like they want to just make a full rotation top to match this Mew early on instead of going a little bit later. Going to skip that Indeedee bottom side, try to get their level 5. Not able to finish both ball toys. Will they make a top in time? It's gonna be close. They need their 5 to hit Felstringer and then move. They should get there in time. So Inteleon's gonna be level 5, a little bit of a jungle split. Does sacrifice the experience on the side of Glaceon, but they can get that later. All the Altaria are gonna go down before the Inteleon's even in rotation. And Dodo, they should be retreating. They should be anticipating the Inteleon's up here. There's been a 4-player rotation all 3 games now in the first part of the map, so I don't think they're going to aggress. Robbie on the bottom side, left by themselves to try to find any farm. They're looking for their level 5 so they can unlock their Trevenant evolution at Woodhammer. Can they get it with Will-O-Wisp? Nice. Well, good steal from Robbie. They're going to get their 5. Anon is splashing away in the bush. They have their level 5 and their evolution to Gyarados as well. And game 3 here, Antic Esports might finally have the advantage going into the Central Lane Altaria. Nice Astonish from Liz to set up Anon on their KOs there. It gets that Eldegoss really low. 30 score into another attack weight stack. Gonna elect to do that instead of contesting Central Area, where Challenge is ready with their water gun. Able to secure that as well. Mew's not gonna finish out with Beam. And really nice start for Antic Esports to get those stacks on the top side of the map. Anon can live here on the Gyarados. That would be huge. They do. They got most of the farm as well. Revenant's online with their Woodhammer. Have some backup farm. Challenge is going to get that snipe shot unlocked. In the meantime, though, Stu does find the pick onto Liz with the Hoopa. But I don't think there's enough pressure for them to get this Gyarados off this top pad. Gyarados just too strong at this stage of the game with that early game bounce and Dragon Breath. Yeah. See these teams set up on the top side of Altaria. 3 members or 3 supports are back up here. Going to be a Solar Beam from the side of the Mew. Dragon Breath autos and Antic Esports Dodo both split those. Altaria 50-50 essentially. We'll see where these teams want to play. If they want to play the top side of the map or the bottom side. Looks like these teams are set up on the top side. Bounce, Anon's looking for an opportunity. Get some good damage onto this Eldegoss, not quite enough. I need a portal reset though, but no, they're going to go down to that Hyper Voice. A little too aggressive from the side of this Gyarados. They're going to end up going down. Nice snipe shot. Leaves that in Sylveon on one. A couple patches ago, we saw Inteleon snipe shot damage go down, and we're seeing the effects of that damage reduction. Could have been potentially 2 KOs there for a challenge. Definitely the Sylveon would have gone down. The Machamp one probably would have been too close to call that. But that does provide Antic Esports enough room to start building down some damage on this objective. They've got the snipe shot ready to secure and challenge find it. Damage is there to combo alongside it. Blue's going to use their Unite move, chase them down with Glacial Stage here in this Icy Wind combination. Hoopa Portal resets, brings this Gyarados back. And they're trying to find as much as they can. Eject button, force on the Glace. They do end up going down. Finally have this Gyarados Unite move unlocked. That's going to open up the room for them to get this score on the top side of the map. Another attack weight stack for this Gyarados, and they're going to back up. Good advantage to Antic Esports for point lead and stacks, but this does mean that Dodo is going to have access to some extra resources in these Indeedis to farm on the top side of the map. So we'll see if that experience differential can come into play, if Dodo can scale a little bit better into the late game, or if Antic Esports can apply enough pressure in the top half of the central area to mitigate some of that extra farm that they get. Nice snipe shot, secures that farm, gets some damage onto the Slowbro as well. Decent find from Robbie, but not quite enough. Machamp does actually end up going down throughout all that. And just snipe shot after snipe shot in these Icy Winds, applying a lot of pressure. Challenge is going to be forced to use their eject button, a little too aggressive with that Fell Swinger. Robbie's going to find the mark alongside Icy Wind, takes down that Mew. Mew's going to go down with that Unite move. Sylveon is looking to retreat here as Sulu applies some more pressure. That makes enough space for them to secure down this bottom objective. And we're looking to try to see if Robbie can find any openings too. Does use that Machamp Unite move, but it's going to be countered by Gyarados, who hides away. Their Unite eject as well, finds the Machamp. Machamp's going to end up going down without using that second half of their Unite. And now we've got the Rings Unbound online. Hoopa's going to bring in the rest of their team to be able to push down this pad. Anon dives back into the back line, forces them to use their Unite move. The Sylveon's going to go down in the process. Nice Surf Unite move combination takes down the Glaceon from the side of this Mew, but it's not going to be quite enough as they have their scores 40, 31, exact break. Not exactly what you want to see, but they have so many points in, 173 to 4. Might be a 24 from the side of Stu if not for this challenge. Inteleon not quite. And if Stu can make it out, they're probably pretty happy with that attack weight stack that they got in some additional points. Challenge is going to look for the line, but the Eldegoss seems to be ready to anticipate and block that. We're going to see, does Antic Esports want to take down this Regieleki? If they take down this Regieleki now, it will mean that it's the final Regieleki of the game, and that's fine. You know, if they can find some value with this right now, that's great. There isn't much on the map to take advantage of, but maybe they just don't want the enemy team to have access to it. Anon is looking for a play with their Unite move, but they're met by that slow beam, and that, you know, while it is just 1 KO for nothing, it is a lot of experience that goes inside of Dodo. Not what you want to see your Gyarados doing on that side of the map there. You're going to end up going down. Dodo's looking to apply some pressure. Machamp jumps over the wall, not able to find anything. 50 cap interrupted from Robbie on that Woodhammer. And right now, Dodo's just looking to get some experience. They want to be as strong as they can going into this raid fight. Nice attempt again on that snipe shot, but there is a Regieleki that's applying pressure on their map that they are going to be forced to respond to finally. Sulu's looking for that damage combo onto the Champ. They're not quite able to find it, and that's going to put an end to that. Both teams going to go back to their respective sides of the map to get some farm, and the bottom Regice is going to be set up for Antic to take down. If they take this now, it won't be up for that much of the raid fight, so they could technically slow down their damage on this a little bit and take it, you know, maybe wait an additional 20 seconds. That way they can maintain that Regice buff for the late game. But getting it done now, letting yourselves get into position is also fine. The only way they really lose this game now is if they get wiped at Rayquaza, which kind of happened last game. They did have a bit of a dirty fight. They're going to want to have a much cleaner fight this time. They don't want to expel too many resources, and they're going to have to watch out for this slow beam. Last game, there wasn't a Slowbro they had to deal with, and they still ended up going down at Ray. This time, there's a clear out on how Dodo is going to advance this game. They want to find the slow beam onto the Gyarados, burst down the Gyarados, And in that window, the Gyarados is not alive. They're going to want to apply as much pressure as they can, get 2 or 3 KOs, and then use this Hyper Voice Mew combo to burn down Rayquaza. In the meantime, Glaceon is getting their Icicle Spear, Icy Wind stacks off of Rayquaza. They have their Icy Wind preloaded, ready to fire. They're going to be forced to use it on Ray just to keep those stacks up. Glaceon in vision, he uses Freeze Try to keep it up. Is going to get beamed. Going to be a little bit of damage, but there is a portal to provide them with some regeneration. All of this does force out the Fairy Frolic on the side of Tom 1 on the Sylveon. They're going to get sniped as well. Icy Winded down. Robbie's looking for an opening. Their Focus Band is going to be expelled. There is Stu on the Machamp. They have a good flank. There's that Soul Beam we were talking about on that. Gyarados going to go down. Does Gyarados go down throughout that? No, they don't. They're able to get their Unite move off. That provides them with some invincibility. Stu on the back line does find the flank. Challenge is going to end up going down. Robbie, 3-man Unite from the side of this Trevenant. Able to burst them down. Ken, Sulu, and Liz find the KO onto Machamp. They do. It's 3 members versus 4 on the side of Dodo. Dodo's looking this opportunity. They've got that bit of a dirty fight that they're looking for to burst down this Rayquaza. Hyper Voice is being used. Anon, nice bounce onto the side of Sylveon, finds the KO onto both Sylph and Machamp, and the Slowbro that is. And Knight is going to be forced to retreat away. If they can get this Rayquaza secured for themselves, that'd be great. Or if they can allow it to heal, either one will work for the side of Antic. They're trying to chase down this Mew, who is, you know, playing a little bit of game of cat and mouse. They do actually end up getting away. Mew's going to retreat. There's only 30 seconds left. If Dodo wants to have a shot at this game, it's going to have to come through Rayquaza. They don't have enough time to look for these backups. Mew not even having the opportunity to back, but they need damage onto this Rayquaza. Mew's being forced out, surfed away as well. Sylveon's here with that Hyper Voice. They've got 13 seconds to burn this, and they need to have enough time to score at the same time. So even if they get this, it's going to be tough. Mew has that boosted auto surf. They're hoping that their team gets it. Is Rayquaza going to go down? It does go down to the side of Dodo. They get 1 cap, but that's not quite enough. Antic Esports was ahead by more than 100, and that's going to be game number 3 in a really close game, going to the OCE representatives at UIC. Antic Esports. Pretty good game. It was close. I mean, if they had a little bit more time, if they got their damage on Rayquaza a little bit earlier, they would have been able to get away with that game, but not quite enough. Buzz and ANC in the chat. See you in the finals. XOXO. True. Machamp was a little unexpected, but you know, Machamp's always a gamble, right? You're always gambling when you're picking Machamp. Are they going to find the flank? Are they going to find the KO? They found the Inteleon, but it just wasn't enough. The dream is, you know, you get 2 or 3 in that Machamp Unite. Cool. Alrighty. We're gonna be back waiting for teams. See, maybe we can catch some more Dodo action. Do we still have Buzz in here? Maybe we could get Buzz to add us. We could watch some more OCE. Have I read all the books on the shelf? I actually have, yeah, every one of them. Being invited. we're in Inter University over here. Don't think I have anyone added from Dodo.
What's going on, brother?
What's up, Sneepy Spiel?
Sneepy.
Sleepy Seal?
Nothing much, man. We're chilling, watching some games. For some reason, they're all upside down. I don't understand.
Oh, because we're in Australia. Yeah, that's
In Australia, yeah.
that's
Koalas are jumping out of trees.
yeah.
Um,
If we were like a kangaroo pair, would you be the Joey or would I be the Joey?
I just by like height alone, I think I'm in the pouch. But
Why can't I be in the pouch? That's messed up.
I mean, would you consider yourself like maybe motherly to be? Is that something how you describe yourself? Maybe.
Nope.
Nope. Okay. Then I don't know. Then you know.
Do you think yourself as a little motherly?
No, but like
You were listening
a
to some
little.
Taylor Swift, right?
and
we're
always
People say Taylor Swift is mother. So
yes, they do.
So
Dude.
by definition, I think that makes you the carrier and I go in the pouch. I am not the mother, you know?
You are not mother. You're not being mother right now. I'm letting you know.
Well, I'm in the pouch.
I watched a couple of those games. The last one was really close, actually.
Yeah, I mean, the OC is looking pretty good. They're looking better than ever.
All that practice they got with going to EUIC.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. I mean,
continually carries his region. He's just the best.
I mean, he was appearing in some NA games as well. Actually, last month it was crazy. That was him on
really weird.
Hades.
I heard about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I think it's weird that he's allowed to like account share like that, personally. But
Account share. It's tough to say because of all the
multiple
history.
leagues, maybe. It's just tough to say because of the history. Because of the implications, man.
Oh yeah, yeah. All right, so Ground Zero won their game as well. That means it's gonna be Antic versus Ground Zero in the winners finals. I think they might be asked to wait on broadcast though, so we won't get to see their game right away. But I do have Dodo at it already. We can catch Dodo's games. But we're just waiting.
Yeah.
I can give
See any good picks? Any meta? I don't think the patch really changed your meta up too much, did it?
I think Buzz getting nerfed makes it so that more bans are in play, and the top side there's a lot more options now. So there's more Gyarados, more Blaziken. I think those Pokemon are going to be enabled more. And they're probably already good. Gyara got buffed. I think the teams got to teams are getting better at the game. So the higher skill cap Pokemon like Blaze are going to be picked more too.
Yeah. I really liked Blaziken at EUIC. But it just seemed like NA didn't have too many Blaziken players.
Yeah, I don't think they were ready with the Blaze fight yet. I don't think EU was really ready either, but there's some reshuffling now. Teams are practicing a lot more. And it's the same thing with Mew. Like, I feel like Mew, Zoro, Blaze are, you know, each role's respective, like, one of the highest skill cap Pokemon. And none of those Pokemon were being played by NA or EU before UIC. And it's not like they're
for lands, like so good on zero ping, right?
They're good on zero ping for sure, but it's not like they're bad on, you know, 80 ping or whatever these guys are playing on, right? I think they just maybe needed the confidence of playing at LAN and boot camping to bring it back. Because, I mean, we saw teams play Zoroark last year, Mew last year on ping, right? They just kind of stopped playing it without any nerfs, really.
I do think it is an interesting thing to look at Japan. I don't think Japan's ping goes up that high.
Their ping for
And
their
they were
games
playing
is
a lot of
better,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, and so if there's like 100 ping West Coast player like during tournament, they might not be willing to pull out the Zoroark, right?
For West Coast, yeah, maybe, but I don't think that's what was stopping teams. You
I think
know,
it was just all not doing it.
I mean, Trainer was playing it last year on ping. He was playing Zoroark last year on ping. Otter played Mew all of last year on ping, right? But neither of them really were playing those mons to start the year online. Mew is a little bit different. I think the meta kind of changed to make Mew good again. But they probably could have been forcing Mew and making good comps with it the whole time. Like I really think it wasn't until like Japan's meta that's a little bit more flourish, like a little bit more refined, that those Pokemon didn't come. But at the same time, Japan didn't have buzz in their games, right? Like it was a little bit of both on both sides.
Is that where you've made your opinion? I've seen some takes that Buzzwole wasn't that good, and I think that's kind of just wrong. It just
When Fusion picked it and they were looking good, they dominated with it, and when teams played around the buzz, it dominated. So yeah, I don't think it was. I think buzz was good. Now it's not though. They
nerfed the triple or the double slam, like where you pick them up from the uppercut move and then slam them where they would have landed, and you get your whole bar back.
You get your whole bar back, and then you get the reset to do it again.
Yeah,
they nerfed that whole interaction, so you basically can't infinitely stun melee Pokemon anymore. Like they're gonna have a window where they can do something, which into like characters like Blaze and whatnot is important, because the Blaze can just Blaze kick out of the combo now, where before it couldn't.
It needs some counterplay. I don't think that was
Not
do anything.
I agree.
I actually don't have the OCE. I haven't read the manga, but I know Salulu. Like, if you didn't read the manga, but you know the main character.
Right.
Ground Zero, have they been winning or no?
So Ground Zero won the last monthly. They won in March. They beat Antic in the finals, and then in the play-ins, Antic won over Fury, I think it was, for the February play-ins to get to UIC. So it's like Antic won, Ground Zero 2 for sure, and then it's kind of the other teams. Maybe you could say Fury might be number 3 because they got in the finals for the play-ins. I'm not too sure how well they did in the March Cup, but yeah, so far only Antic and Ground Zero have won events in OC, and they're the ones that are in the winter finals. So that's gonna be a good match, but they're gonna have to wait for the lower bracket to catch up a little bit before we watch it.
A bit later, right?
Yeah, it should be in like an hour.
Couple hours. An hour? Okay.
I think this losers bracket side's gonna get played out, and then it should be the winners finals after that.
It's like when there's 4 teams left. There's no official bracket, but
there's a bracket. Yeah, I have the bracket open, but yeah, I think there's like a quote-unquote official broadcast because Kello has it, but not like the actual at the studio or whatever.
Yeah. She gets does she do it all too?
No, I think they have like
fans.
Miss Mystic and other people doing production and whatnot, and they have a couple co-casters.
Oh, so she gets official help too. That's really interesting. That's nice. Oh, awesome. Yeah. So she gets.
Oh, there's no delay on the game. Oh, so they're just gonna be playing. Lit.
Nice. Awesome. So for your casting tomorrow, you wanted to test not test, you want to do color, so you want me to just be like, and Slowbro goes in ult and does this, and then like I'll hand it to you. Is that your
Yeah, if you're comfortable
plan?
to do it. And like,
I
you
can
know,
do it. I can talk it through and then hand it off to you.
yeah, and you know, just if you feel like you need like some room to breathe, or you just want to pass it off, you just pass it, and you know,
Cool.
you just send it over.
I want you to definitely practice what you want to do, so which is cool.
Yeah.
Nice. So tomorrow's games should be very nice for NA. You're doing EU too at do you know what time, or you?
EU, I think it's 10 a.m. Eastern.
gonna be up and doing
Moon told me 13 hours, 11. I'm gonna, oh yeah, I'll be up.
Yeah. 11. Is that the? Really? That's... So they're gonna be up at like maybe. The stream's gonna start at maybe 1 or 12 for
EU, yeah, I guess so.
EU finals. Okay. Interesting.
Do I want a coffee? I got the water.
You're not staying up, are you?
No. I'm gonna sleep in between.
No, yes, making sure.
Yeah.
You did have a bad schedule for EUIC though. You said you had a bad sleep schedule.
Well, it's good for EUIC, but bad for everything else.
Yes, yeah. If you were in London, it would have been a great sleep schedule.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta go check out qualifiers too before tomorrow. I need to do a little watch through. I don't think I got to watch a super team. Is that what we're calling them? Luminosity? Is that the word you would use?
Super team, I guess. I mean, I don't really know how it's a super team. There's just 5 noobs on that team, so
Yeah, they're all okay.
they're all right.
I've seen a lot of Golden State Warrior comments.
Not impressed.
Aren't you a basketball guy? Not
Mhm.
impressed. Not even a little bit. Wow.
I mean, well, the pressure is on them to win. I think, like,
For sure, right?
I think they're okay in terms of points with any like top 4 kind of finish. It'll be fine. But I think for like how they all kind of abandoned a bunch of teams, I think the expectation on them is going to be to win. And Nemesis is still a tough team to beat. Orange team's not going to be bad.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Nemesis is. I feel like for sure that their matchup is what they did worth it. You know, to beat Nemesis. So their points are fine. We got the update today was that only 3 teams technically go. Did I misunderstand that?
So
Is NA...
there's 3 teams from NA that get to go. The winner of regionals and then the top 2 in points after that. And the final stretch will be the bottom 5. So the not top 3 teams from NA. The bottom 5 will meet 3 open bracket final stretch teams. And they'll play in like a side tournament basically. And the winner of that will get a world's invite. But any region can come. Like it's like a open
That's
thing.
what I'm understanding.
So-
But what regions would come? Are their tournaments not going to be?
Well, NAIC happens after their regionals. So they, teams that don't qualify, that don't already have their world's invite, could show up and fight for it at the final stretch.
Oof. That's interesting.
But the thing is
Potentially.
it's not that invite doesn't come with the stipend. So even if they qualify for worlds through that, they'll still have to get to Hawaii on their own dime.
Yeah.
It's a real big risk.
It's hard in general for a lot of teams to travel.
Yeah.
I doubt we'll see too many
Foreign teams,
teams without orgs. It's also a little weird to give North America 2-time world champs a potential less of a spot.
Yeah,
You know
but
what I mean?
they, NA gets 5 teams out of the 8 that get to play in that tournament. Plus the other 3 could also be NA teams, and it's a home, like the home team advantage.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think it ends up being fair. Like it kind of means that NA gets 4 spots, right? Like NA's likely to get 4. And if NA had won EUIC, they could have even had 5, right? Like,
Oh, you're right. That's fair.
so, but NA didn't win, so they are the 2-time world champs, but they're not the EUIC, which is also, mini worlds basically, right? They didn't win that. So this But lose that and still get potentially 4 spots when all the other regions get 3, I think is good enough.
Oh, is it 3 now? Am I?
NA's 3 plus final stretch would be the 4th one. Yeah.
I thought did Europe have 4 last year?
Yeah, they had 4 last year.
But is it 3 only now?
It's 3 now as well for them. Yeah.
Oh, are we less teams or 24 teams now, or what's the?
There's gonna be less teams at Worlds. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. I thought I haven't been paying close attention. Let me look at that.
Okay, so we could watch Dodo versus Fury Global, but I think it's better to wait for the Antic game because they're up next.
Oh, that's a lot less teams.
Be the first Worlds where there's no home field advantage. In Hawaii is technically US, right? You could say that's still US advantage. Worlds last year was Japan. The year before that was London. So when Japan went London, like EU, Japan, and now it's NA. But it depends if I mean, literally Hawaii is NA. I think culturally and for a lot of different reasons, you might not consider that American.
Oh wow, I didn't. So 17 teams have been announced. Do you think there's gonna be a play-in at Worlds? No, maybe.
I think so. I don't know.
17's a weird number, right? You're kind of. Are they expecting somebody to not show up already? Per other years.
Maybe. No, I think they'll probably have more teams.
Yeah, I could see 24.
When is the match of NA? Well, it's midnight right now in NA, so obviously not anytime now. It's gonna be like what, 15 hours from now? Sounds about right, I think. What's going on with this game? Oh, it looks like their match started. It should be. We should be in very soon. EU starts in 11 hours from now.
Inder, have you booked any of your New Orleans stuff?
Our hotel is booked, and then I need to be booking my flight probably tomorrow.
Nice. Yeah, same. I'm credit card monthly reset, so
True.
tomorrow. So I'm gonna grab everything. I'm excited. I got a list.
I
A
saw.
lot of customers. Oh yeah, I've had a lot of customers. Like at I worked at a vacation island place for so much of my for a lot of my tenure, and so people would come in and be like, I'm from New Orleans. I'd be like, tell me everything, you know, I'm going next year, give me the deets. And so a lot of locals told me. I had some guy from Hawaii give me Honolulu tips as well, which is really exciting.
I was thinking about DMing the mayor and be like, I'm coming.
You want to? Yeah. You give you the key to the city, maybe?
I mean, you never know.
Let's get it. I saw people showed me pictures of they traveled to one of the islands just to see a sunrise, on a volcano. And apparently that's the coolest thing. Haleakala, and it's I'll send you a picture. It's pretty cool.
Might be like a normie tourist kind of thing to do.
Sounds right. Do you have the deets? Do you have the?
I might have
Yeah,
some.
the
I might have some
executive code?
sauce. You know, I might have some Hawaii sauce.
Oh my gosh. Is that spam?
That's That's one of the things, yeah.
So,
I'm just gonna assume it's like mini Japan. I'm
There
going there
is,
for the 7-Elevens.
dude, one of my favorite restaurants from Japan is there, which I'm super excited. I'm gonna go like at least 3 times.
What's
It's
the restaurant?
It's the Coco's curry.
Coco's Curry.
Yeah.
I think we have one of those in Canada, in Toronto.
You might actually. Ichi Banya.
Where is their game?
Oh, there's a lot in California. Whoops. But it's very good.
It'd be very, very soon.
There's one in Ontario, yeah.
All right, game is started. So gotta adjust the teams here. Antec versus ground on the ground 0. In the winners finals.
Awesome.
So Antics repping draft that they had in the winter semifinals. Actually, no, their picks got taken away. They were playing a lot of Gyarados and Teleon, and Ground Zero is actually taking away a lot of their draft. Then Teleon on the bottom side with that tree, exactly what Antic was running. I'm not sure if they did their homework or if these metas are just that much similar. This time though, they have a melee support on the Clefable on the top side, and Blastoise picked for Anon. And Challenge is going to take the central area on the 1 buff Glaceon. So they did a full round swap to get Suluwu on this Dodrio. He's not able to get much throughout the lane itself. He's going to retreat back for this blue buff. Tree's going to look for the secure. He doesn't actually find it. Nicely done by Robbie. We have Umbreon as well, who recently got buffed, right? So Umbreon's Wish and Foul Play both are really, really strong now after the recent buffs. And I'm excited to finally see. I think this Pokemon was banned away both games last draft.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what did you think the bans were this game? But I can't really tell.
Maybe
Just
Trevenant, Leafeon, maybe... No, Tree's actually picked away. Maybe Leafeon, maybe Eldegoss, that's why they're on the Clefable. Might have been some support bans.
Maybe a Blissey, or I'm not even sure. Is Blissey even bannable at this point?
It could be, yeah. 4-player rotation from topside, though. This is what Antic Esports was doing earlier in the tournament. Dodo was matching it really well. Looks like Ground Zero wanted to just get their Gyarados online. So they do get their Gyarados on the bottom side. And yeah, I think that's going to be about it for them.
Giving Gyarados the 1 buff just to get the evolution is huge. Being able to contest the 8 minutes bees here in the middle, or the birds, is going to be big for Ground Zero. Slew is level 6, looking for that good drill peck to move the middle bees away from Inteleon. Let's see. Oh, right to him.
Okay, he moves it right to him. He's gonna get caught as well. Takes a basic auto attack from Inteleon's gonna go down. Challenge has some counter damage to try to take down this left. They're going for the eject as well from Anon, not able to find it. Almost entire cast on the side of Ground Zero survives on 1 HP. And they're not gonna be able to find it. Anon's gonna go down on that Blastoise. Unfortunate for them, as Challenge gets chased away from the Gyarados, who finds that jump pad. Joe able to make just a bit of an escape. And Robbie's stuck defending this pad down here, 1 versus 3.
Yeah, they're trying to defend the scores. It's a little difficult for an Umbreon to stop a lot of them. I think Clefable's stacking a little bit too with the Moonlight, so it's going to help them have stronger heals for the late game. Feather running the Mystical Fire build. Gonna maybe shut down the Rapid Spin Blastoise in the fights, but we'll see what they can do, as Teleon's going for the 30 cap, and Sylveon as well, breaking the bottom goal and giving them free reign of the bottom Reggie, if they choose to go for it.
Yeah, in the meantime, Antic Esports is doing top objective and they broke that top pad. So Ground Zero a little bit forced to respond to that. And now Antic Esports, they have an opening. Do they want to push with this Regieleki or go on the opposite side of the map? They're going to elect to go bottom side. And we did mention there's that rapid spin Blastoise, so they're probably getting their special attack spec stacked up. Blue's diving past the backline, just trying to make some space for these scores to go in. Anon gets a couple of stacks, gets their level 9, and now Antic Esports is in position for this bottom objective.
Antic really running the field here, getting the Regieleki top, getting their ultimate abilities, and then coming down and ripping the Regi. I don't think Ground Zero got any positives on any of that. No ultimates besides Gyarados, who is going in right now onto the Glaceon. Hits the ultimate ability, but Glaceon flashes away, hits the Icicle Spear onto Gyarados and chunks him, but they're still staying up and auto-attacking. Blastoise has to flash away. The fight should end here. Both teams just resetting and farming yellow dots on the map.
Yeah, Antic Esports a little bit ahead of the game. They push top just a little bit faster, which enabled them to get both objectives. But they do lose a lot of that pressure in their center area. Opens up the map for Ground Zero to push top. And Joe on that Gyarados struggling, their attack weight stacks up. And that's what a lot of the game right now is going to revolve around, are these carry late game Pokemon if they can get their levels, but also if they can get their stacking items on way. Definitely we're expecting attack weight on the Gyarados, likely special attack specs on the Blastoise, definitely some kind of stacking on the Dodrio. And whichever team can get away with more stacks, they're going to be the team that's ahead in terms of combat power when it comes to this late game fight. At the same time, there are some difficult matchups. There's a Gravity to help deal with the Drill Peck, Trevenant, Hornleech to be disruptive into all these Pokemon. So we'll see. Antic Esports, they do have a really good objective damage. Is the Secure going to go to the Gyarados? Go with that Unite move. They do find that, as Ground Zero is going to look to push with this Regieleki on the top side of the map. Sneaky.
Realt comes out, helping Ground Zero push the Regieleki in. 40 cap for the Gyarados. Joe is looking big right now. It's a few stacks. Good energy amp secure on the Gyarados for the Regieleki, helping their team get ahead and helping even out this game. They're actually getting a point lead now because of that play.
Yeah, I think it was a solid choice. You know, once they realized they had the opening through the central area to go push top, that was great. Energy amp, one of these really cool items on Gyarados, because that damage amplification triggers when Gyarados releases their Unite move and pops out, as opposed to when they go underground. So not only do they get the amp bonus on the actual Unite move damage, but for the 4 seconds following that as well if they want to use it afterwards. Now we're going to see Antic Esports are going to open the gate with some of their Unite moves, Rings Unbound, and that Dodrio Unite move use opens up the map for them to get that Regirock. And now they just want to be able to try to kite away as much as they can. Anon, though, is set up with that Hydro Typhoon. They're going to get Joe caught in that. Can Joe fall to the rapid spin damage? Not quite. That Inteleon damage is a little bit too much for them to be able to deal with. Trevenant on the backside, though, being so annoying. They live on 1 HP. They find that Woodhammer. They're going to take down the Dodrio in the process of that as well. And Trevenant's actually going to be able to survive through all of that damage. Ground Zero, where they're losing fights in terms of map rotation, maybe. And Antic Esports is able to play the first half of the map with the objectives really well. Ground Zero's team fighting is making up for it in the side of that tree and the Sylveon, as well, who's playing a lot of pressure. And the game is still relatively even, though.
Robbie alone in the middle of the map, trying to find these Sylveon and shut them down, and unable to find the KO. It's a big scary fish. Level 13, about to be 14 before this Rayquaza. They have a Clefable Pocket. They have Blastoise on the enemy side is only level 12 now, and was tickling the enemies earlier. It's going to be up in the Gyarados' hands to finish this game out. If they can rotate to the top side to make sure Antic Esports does not get this Regieleki and have that pressure when Rayquaza spawns, they should be okay with the rest of this game, but they do not show up in time.
Yeah, so Antic gets the jump on that Regieleki. Like you said, they get that pressure to walk during Rayquaza. And Ground Zero is just trying to play up. They're trying to make as much space as they can to separate these two teams. We are going to get the close battle notification here, but I think Ground Zero should be aware that they're probably in the lead based on what the previous scores was. Joe does find himself in the enemy center area, bounces over that wall. Nice Icicle Spears being blocked up by that Clefable as well. They've got that Moonlight to bring him back 2 health as he ticks into level 14. But Antic, they elect to go and score off that Regieleki, so that's going to put them into the lead. Ground Zero now forced to make something happen as they're on the back foot. But Antic Esports able to stabilize out of that. Rayquaza's getting low as we do see a Unite move on the side of Sulu. He finds enemy backline, drill pack out of their Unite move. Explosion rolled on that Clefable. A lot of chaos in this fight. Rapid Spin Water Spout used. It does force out Joe on that Gyarados to use their Unite move. Going to try to fight away. Antic Esports is trying to live as many Pokemon as they can, as they do have almost 100-point lead here. Anon is going to get caught on that Blastoise. Has a Hydro Typhoon. 3-player Hydro Typhoon into that Rapid Spin. They've got that level 13 defense bonuses, but it's not quite enough. Antic Esports, 4 members on their team up against 5 on the side of Ground Zero. But Ground Zero is a team on the back foot. They need to make something happen, as Clefable is actually going to end up going down, as well as that Inteleon. Maybe a little bit of overstepping there, as Sulu's on that back line, finds that Drill Peck onto Feather. Feather's going to take down Sulu with the help of that Gyarados. But now Antic Esports, they're up 3 members to 2. Challenge is going to be able to zone out with these Icicle Spears. And Ground Zero, they need to find another score if they want to get back into this game with 35 seconds left. Glaceon takes down that Sylveon throughout that as well, and it's going to be tough. I'm not sure if Ground Zero's got enough time here to make something happen here, Sneaky.
Antic Esports are 100 burger away from losing this game. I don't think there is any time. Antic gets the 80 in with Umbreon bot, securing their victory here. What a fantastic team fight. Even though Ground Zero had a really good like spacing in that team fight. Clefable was healing up their team and keeping them alive. There was one Icicle Spear that Clefable tanked the entire thing of and led to them going down, the rest of their team going down.
Yeah,
That was a great team fight though, and you're right, from both teams.
yeah, I like Antic. Even though they had the point lead after Anon scored, they still opted to pull the trigger. Sulu found a nice Unite move, forced out a lot of resources.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that was really well played, and they kind of got their draft stolen from them. Like these are all the Pokemon they played last game, Inteleon, Tree, Gara. But they made it work with the new comp that they had this game. And we're talking about the bans, Mew Dragonite bans. So maybe Antic did a little bit of homework into Ground Zero.
Okay.
Ground Zero maybe using the Kabi-chan's friendship draft with that coaching Mew and Dragonance. Yeah.
Okay.
With the Aldegos and all of that, and Antic Esports bans that away. And Crustle Leafeon, yeah.
Good bans. I am interested in the Icicle Spear. I think Icicle Spear saw a little bit less favoritism. It was not as favored in EUIC because of all the Icy Wind players, but I think it's still very strong. I think it's really strong into a lot of these tanks. And a strong anti-heal. I imagine they're running the anti-heal item versus, unkillable tanks like Clefable and Tree.
Yeah, I think it was a good pick this game. Like, there's a lot of melee Pokemon, especially into the Clef. The enemy team wants to group up for those heals, and Icicle Spear damage around the target explodes in an AoE. So if you stand on top of each other for that Moonlight, everyone's going to take damage from that Icicle Spear as well. And Clefable can go follow me to try to stand in the way of those spears with that follow me shield, but then that means that they're not going gravity, which could be tough. They might want to have that gravity advantage over things like Foul Play, Umbreon, and Drill Peck Dodrio.
Yeah,
but I really think, looking back at this game, I think this is a follow me game. It still kind of helps against Dodrio. It gives you some more tankiness into the spears to block it. And then also, it has this interesting matchup into Blastoise, where because Blastoise isn't actually unstoppable, what Follow Me does is it forces you to auto-attack targets near the Follow Me, right? And Blastoise gets forced in their Rapid Spin to auto-attack the Clefable, which actually stops their Water Spout damage. Like, you're not able to hold down Water Spout while you're getting Follow Me. So, one of the few stuns in the game that actually interacts with that Rapid Spin build. There's not a whole lot that does that. So
I liked what they did to try to shut down Blastoise. If you notice, Blastoise did not do. If you want to check out the damage again, I think they weren't doing as much damage as they could have been doing because of the Mystical Fire. But Feather just maybe they needed to follow me to help engage with Gyarados. That could have been maybe the solution. Most supports I feel like if you have playing with your Gyarados carry, you maybe want a Blissey or a Comfy or something that can stay with the Gyarados, and you're right, maybe it was just follow me.
Yeah, and another problem, like Mystical Fire definitely has a good, decent matchup in a Dodrio. You can break the sprint gauge with your Draining Kiss, which is a point and click slow. You can reduce the special attack of things like Blastoise and Glaceon. But when you go Mystical Fire, you also take away a lot of your objective damage. And, you know, if you ever fall behind on the side of Ground Zero and you're forced to take Rayquaza, it's a lot easier to come back in the game with Hyper Voice. That's what Dodo did when they won their game into Antic in the last set. And, you know, with that Mystical Fire, it definitely is a lot harder to push.
Yeah, they definitely fell behind. And I want to circle back to that first Reggie where I think Ground Zero opted out of taking the bottom Reggie after breaking with a it was an overcap, but it wasn't too great. I just would have to ask them maybe why. I know they're afraid of the Regieleki going in, but if that's the trade we're going for on the map, you might as well try to defend it or just make sure you get the XP. But then they had no ultimate abilities.
Yeah.
That's where they lost the snowball with the Mystical Fire Silver.
In that exchange, you'll normally see the side that needs to defend Regieleki to take that bottom Reggie and then immediately back without breaking that bottom pad. But I think that extra time that they spent breaking that pad was enough for Antic to have like a tempo advantage on the objectives where they took down Regieleki in that time.
Yeah.
And then that made it so Ground Zero kind of got to do neither. They didn't get to defend all too well, which, you know, they did end up defending, but it meant that they weren't able to get that bottom objective, and they fell behind in experience. They didn't have that buff. Antic just kept the pressure on from there, and I mean, Ground Zero brought it back. They did bring it back with some good Unite moves on their side, but it wasn't quite enough in the end game.
I like what you're saying is if they hadn't broken the bottom pad and they just did the Reggie, I think that would have put them back in the game. Inteleon gets to stay bot and just snipe shot a bunch of Meow Sticks or what are they? The NDDD they would have just farmed some XP. I think you hit the nail on the head there for maybe where that game was no longer like not in their hands, but became a lot more difficult.
Yeah. I think that's where they definitely started to fall behind. But, you know, we'll see how they can bounce back. I think these teams have a good read on each other when it comes to draft. Definitely, if Antic is banning Mew Dragonite this set and they weren't last set, because they did some homework, they know what Ground Zero's been picking, maybe in scrims or in some of their community tournaments. And now Ground Zero has first pick. So generally, right now in this meta, the team that gets first pick, they are gonna be able to get some kind of pick that they want, because the second pick team is kind of forced to ban out the Leafeon. You can give up the Leafeon, but that's the true power pick of this patch. The second pick has to expend one of their bans onto Leafeon. It means from first pick, you know, if you wanted that Mew, if you wanted that Dragonite, you know, you might end up getting it because there's just one less ban for the other team to go for.
I'm excited to see what other people can do with the Dragonite. I saw some discussion about, you know, maybe just the Kabi-chan jungler was just so good and was carrying Dragonite. I want to see if other people have practiced it and are really confident in their secures in their gameplay.
Yeah, I mean, the Kabi-chan's Dragonite, not only was he just really good on the secures, but just like cycling his Dragon Dances, making sure that at the end of every one of his Dragon Dances that he was at the perfect spot to continue applying pressure with his auto attacks, and then weaving in and out, dodging damage, redirecting his beams with a eject button, where you see a lot of NA Dragonites go for full heal, and we'll probably see a lot more full heal as well. I think they were almost exclusively playing eject button to have that, you know, follow up on enemy ejects and whatever it was. Their Dragonite player was one of the best I've ever seen. So I think a lot of these teams probably a bit inspired by that gameplay as well.
other regions helping each other out in a certain way. What about this? So the Crustle Leafeon bans, is that still a must? These are still must bans, you think, for the early game, and still one of the best tanks?
Leafeon, I think definitely a must ban. I think my read is that Crustle probably will go down a little bit in priority for some of these teams, just because Umbreon got buffed. Umbreon's really strong now with the foul play and wish buffs. That's actually, both of those moves together can be a viable moveset. And not that Umbreon completely mitigates Crussle's effectiveness. You know, you can definitely still be Crustle into Umbreon, it's absolutely fine. But there is something to be said about the late game where Umbreon just gets a free shield off that Rubble Rouser on the Crustle to be able to just take it away. I think it makes it so that maybe first pick Crustle isn't good enough when there's enemy team can just match it with an Umbreon. Of course, if Umbreon gets banned out, then Crussle's still just as good.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people not. We have some rock paper scissors going on with, you know, the characters who come out. You know, Blissey into Hoopa. You have Umbreon into Blissey with the ult and want to shut it down. I feel like maybe we forgot some of the basics and we're getting back to those, which is nice. That you really need to have your portal timings down. You got to shut down your Blissey ult with the Umbreon ult. And maybe we'll see more of that in the pick ban phase.
Yeah, I think we'll definitely see some of that. And then, honestly, like, a lot of these interactions, while they are good, when it comes to practical gameplay, it doesn't necessarily always end up working out this way. Like, yes, Umbreon can steal away a Blissey shield, the Buddy Berry shield, and the Bliss Assistance, but the Umbreon also needs to already be in position to do that. Otherwise, you know, a lot of the damage just comes out right away, and the shields are going to take the damage first. So it's not exactly like a one-to-one counter matchup. Definitely, if the Umbreon is in a good position and they're playing well, they can make stuff happen. But even playing Crustle into Umbreon, even playing Wiggly into Umbreon, like, none of these are complete 100-0 matchups. So we'll see. But it does make Umbreon that much more effective. And, you know, with their buffs, I really think Umbreon's going to be one of the Pokemon that is going to either get picked a lot during all the April Cups for NA and EU as well. And if it's not picked that much, I think the teams that are able to make it work with Foul Play Wish especially are going to be finding a lot of success.
So as a support main, where are you at with this, with the current buffs and nerfs to Eldegoss? What is your tier list? What is the priority you expect to see throughout OC today and tomorrow with NA and EU?
I think Hoopa, Eld, Blissey, all, like, those three Pokemon kind of have good, they're like kind of close to one another in terms of balance. Eld and Hoopa, they give you the range advantage. So if you want to play a carry on the top side, or the enemy team has a carry on the top side, it's good to have those Pokemon in play to enable or, you know, counteract the enemy carries. And then Blissey, you know, it helps your carries in terms of Bliss Assistance, obviously, in the late game. So that's really, really good. A little bit tankier than the others, is good sustain. But what it has in terms of support in that aspect, it lacks in that, you know, range pressure on the top side. So it's stronger late game, weaker early, which can definitely matter. But I think those three Pokemon kind of live in harmony. And then, you know, they kind of live in peace until Comfey attacks, right? And then Zoroark, Comfey comes out, and it's like none of these supports matter. The Zoro is just going to take over the game. So, like, it really depends, like, how confident the Zoroark players are in their gameplay if they want to bring out the Comfey. Because Comfey Zoro, you know, can just checkmate some games if the Zoro player is on point.
Checkmate's a great word to describe it, just knowing what the Fire Nation's going to do.
That's right.
to the different air temples on the Sky Ruins map. Are we getting into this game? Let's do it.
Looks like we're back in the game. Antic Esports are up 1-0 to Ground Zero in the winners finals. This game, they get their Gyarados. So Gyarados has been a highly contested pick First game that we're going to see on our stream of Blaziken on the other side. So these are my two picks for the top side. Is Gyarados, Blaziken on opposite sides. I think these are the two strongest all-rounders in the game. I think every game they should probably be picked or banned away, depending maybe on the flow of the draft. But I think these are the Pokemon that have the most like gameplay potential. And then this time Antic has that Dragonite, which they banned away. We'll see if they can make that work with a Japanese kind of gameplay style. What we did see with Dragonite though, when Kabi-chan's picked it, is that Dragonite was always picked with something that was less greedy on the top side. You know, they picked like Petal Dance Venu top, Blastoise top, and being Gyarados, you generally want to have an Eevee to bring them online, the way Ground Zero has their one buff Eevee on the top side. So we'll see. Maybe Antic, you know, they are definitely anticipating this happening, but there's not much they can do even if they know it's coming. They're gonna get 3v2'd on their pad. You kind of just have to wait until Sulu's done with their jungle clear for their level 5. And at least we didn't see them go down. And Joe might have overstepped here. He's gonna get astonished. Lots of damage, eject buttons going out, and looks like no KOs on either end. Good effort gauge built on the Magikarp, as these teams are going to get ready for the 850 Altaria.
Sulu hitting a 3-man Dragon Breath there to do a lot of damage, but not enough to find the KO. I was going to bring up potentially the Ground Zero Joe having Flash instead of Potion this game, and so they might be Hyper Voice, but no, they've opted for the Mystical Fire. Again, I'm not as big of a fan this time. I don't know if it's that strong into anybody besides Glaceon. Anon taking that portal back just to get out. You get out just in time to survive. They might evolve into Gyarados here if they can find that KO, but they can't onto Squirtle.
And Mean Look preventing them from getting that off. And actually this game is an Umbreon support. So typically when we see Umbreon, it's in that bottom path defender role. But they've got a Snorlax and they're going to try to use Wish as their solo healer of the game. Definitely something we've seen teams mess around with, and it gives you that kind of advantage in draft where you can be flexible. But the weakness is that you need to get level 6 to come online as a healer, whereas all the other supports are online at level 4. So this early game is a little bit tougher to get set up. This is where Sulu was going to apply the pressure early on to get that KO onto Umbreon. And now Antic Esports, they want to keep applying pressure. They're going to try to push bottom as Robbie is getting burned down. They're going to end up retreating away. I don't think they're going to be able to find too much here. But still, good KO on the central, on those central Altaria. Sulu gets their level 8 here.
Yeah, Jerry's coming in clutch for Sulu to find their Hyper Beam for the 720 bottom Altarias. Snorlax engages, stunning the members of Antic Esports so that Ground Zero can clear the Altarias for themselves, getting potentially some ultimate abilities on characters like Sylveon, looking for the Blaziken ultimate as well in the jungle, I believe. Wish is online. They have a lot of their moves, but Antic Esports ripping the Regieleki top with the Dragonite. Potentially want to push us in because Sylveon's overstepping. Maybe gets the ultimate off to heal up. Snorlax living with just 1 HP. No KOs able to be found here, but a back and forth from both sides.
Yeah, Antic, they decided to portal up to get this Regieleki. It ends up walking in. A little bit of miss inputs from the side of Ground Zero, or maybe it's an intentional bait to force enemy team. I doubt it though. I don't think they wanted this to go in. Antic's gonna get a pair of scores there. Blue is gonna jump down with their Unite move, make some space as Challenge gets their 30 cap in as well. And all throughout this, Ground Zero, again, not able to take down that bottom basement Reggie while this Regieleki went down. I think if they're going to come back and reflect from this game, they want to be on one of these objectives when it spawns, because otherwise they're going to start to get out-rotated by Antic Esports and their Hoopa here. As they now have to fight over this bottom objective, down a whole lot of experience and stacks.
I guess because Antic is prioritizing the Regieleki, that maybe they're afraid of Hoopa having both pads up, but maybe you just want the one pad to go and farm the bottom Reggie. I'm not really sure, but Dragonite getting a 3-stack Hyper Beam off onto Sylveon, re-engages with Dragon Dance, gets caught out by Umbreon. Mean Look into Umbreon ult, finds the KO. Ground Zero looking for the KO onto Trevenant, and the Overheat will find the Reggie Ice secure. They better be careful, though, because Gyarados is on their way down with the Hoopa Portal. Ground Zero going for the reset back to farm their side of the map.
Yeah, a little bit of miscommunication from the side of Antic there. Their Dragonite had those triple Dragonin stacks up ready to Hyper Beam. They went for the Hyper Beam looking to get some damage. Maybe they wanted to play for the team fight. In that meantime, the Glaceon was burning the objective with Icicle Spears. And once that Hyper Beam gets used, there's that like 8 to 10 second window it goes on cooldown where that Dragonite doesn't have access to that secure. And in that window, Ground Zero understood that that was their moment to look for a fight. They got the KO on the Dragonite, they'd have the objective, and they do. But I think had Antic just played on that objective with that Glaceon Dragonite, they probably win that without contest. And they can use the momentum to potentially keep pushing. They end up going down, but that's okay. They're able to rotate top with that Hoopa, get this Regieleki pressure, and now they're going to try again on this bottom side of the map if they can get some scores in.
Dragonite ulting into the bottom side of the map, trying to find a KO onto Snorlax, who is ulting on the pad to save it. Blaziken going for the Overheat, canceling the move, not going to find the target they want. Hydro Typhoon comes out for Feather. One score goes in, but it looks like Ground Zero are going to have to let this go. Just kidding, because the rest of Antic is teleporting top. I'm not sure about this play. I thought they had the bottom objective secured, and it looks like multiple members of Antic are going to go down here if they stick around. Oh, Liz on 1 HP. Goes down to Joe on the Mystical Fire Sylveon.
Yeah, and
I
three
don't
members.
think that was what they wanted.
Yeah, 3 members of Antic go down. Essentially some miscommunication, just a little bit of misdirection there. They did look like they had that advantage on that bottom side to take down that bottom pad. I guess they already had their Hoopa rotating to the other side of the map, and they wanted to get a play with their rings unbound, but Ground Zero able to respond with those jump pads. As challenge goes well down on the Glaceon, mean look found onto Suluwu as well. But Robbie's in position with that Horn Leash to make some pressure, alleviate some of that damage off Suluwu. Feather is able to dive to the back line. Nice eject play from Robbie, finds a 3-member Woodhammer. There's a block going out to be able to try to get these scores in. Umbreon gets their scores in. Anon responds back with that Gyarados Unite move with that eject button as well, and they're able to pick up 3 members of Ground Zero. Might make it 4 with Joe going down. Potentially Joe goes down as well. Snorlax the only member on the side of Ground Zero left as their focus ban. It's triggered, and Ground Zero forced to retreat as Antic Esports gets another 50. And finally, Antic's able to do what they wanted to do earlier, like you were saying, Sneaky. Just apply pressure on that bottom pad and take it down. And they're able to get that plus this Reggie Ice.
Anon is looking huge. Fantastic Gyarados ulti to find 2 members of Ground Zero. Just cleaning up with the Dragon Breath. They are potentially going to be level 14 after they farm for their ultimate back. They have not knocked out a wild Pokemon yet to get their ultimate back, so they need to go do those top lane Audinos. But they'll be ready to join the fight with the Hoopa Ultimate. The rest of Ground Zero needs to set up and find positioning in the Ray Pit. We have our Hydro Pump Rapid Spin Blastoise on the top side defending the top entrance. The rest of Ground Zero on the bottom side looking for members of Antic Esports to overstep.
A nice heavy slam to stop that hyperspace hole reset. And Ground Zero knows they have a window here to take this fight. They're going to jump in with those Unite moves. Mystical Fire Sylveon, Rapid Spin Blastoise chasing down Challenge. Challenge going to end up going down. Sulu gets pressured as well. They're going to use their Unite move to try to get away. Robbie finds that Horn Leash, peels away from his teammates, takes that Rings Unbound to get themselves into safety. But this Blastoise is causing so much pressure in the backline. All while this is happening, Ground Zero is hitting Rayquaza. They don't have a whole lot of damage onto it, but Blaziken, if they can get it low, will have a solid secure in the form of Overheat. This is going to force Antic Esports to check what is going on. Robbie's the one to do that as a defender. He's going to go down, but they find a pick onto Joe on that Sylveon. Anon force to use their Unite move outside of that. And we see that Blaze Kick into the hyperspace hole, sending back that Gyarados to safety. Nicely placed hole by Liz there. And another hyperspace hole goes out to provide that speed bonus. Maybe they can chase down Feather. And Antic Esports all of a sudden able to flip the script on them. Sulu's back here. And Ground Zero, while they did have a good start to this team fight, Antic Esports able to recoup themselves, get back into the fight. Feather's going to try with the Hydro Pump over the wall, but it's not quite enough. Definitely no contest when it comes to the Hyper Beam secure. And with Antic already being up in points and having these race shields, I think it's going to be a clean 2-0 as they advance to the grand finals in OCE.
somebody in chat pointing out to me that I think that fight looked weird for Antic. I'm pretty sure Gyarados was farming their ultimate again off of the Altarias in the bottom path. That was something was going on where they were not a part of that fight, and they said that Gyarados just accidentally ulted the top lane Audinos. I'm not really sure, but that was why that Antic Esports fight looked a little interesting until Gyarados showed up and team wiped. And once they were on the board, they were strong enough to just dominate the fight.
Yeah, it was good. I think, again, like in both of these games, and just in general with Sylveon, the issues is once you go this Mystical Fire build, you're kind of guaranteeing that your damage onto objectives is going to be much, much worse than it would be with Hyper Voice. Obviously, they might not have been able to achieve that game state in the end game with Hyper Voice, but after picking up those KOs and chasing down that Glaceon, getting everyone on Antic low, they needed to turn their direction to Rayquaza, and they had to finish it there and then. But they didn't have the damage, they didn't have that Hyper Voice. Blaziken wishes that their team got it low enough for that overheat secure. But yeah, Ground Zero forced to take that fight again, and in that refight, they just didn't have enough resources. Like the Gyarados farmed back up, and Hyperspace Hole resets were there, and it was just too much for Ground Zero to take over.
Also, running that Hydro Pump Rapid Spin build definitely not going to help you rip any objectives and or find the KOs. In fact, I just don't like the damage picks on the side of Ground Zero. Mystical Fire with Hydro Pump Rapid Spin and Blaziken, you're not going to find too much. You're going to find too much damage there to help the Blaziken finish off the enemy team. You might need like a sniper instead. I'm not really sure what.
Yeah, I think between the Blastoise and the Sylveon, one of them needed to be either Spout or Hyper Voice. You know, we've seen teams play both, like, you know, all of
both is great.
Both of them together, and it gives them that objective damage. It does make it a little bit tough to get some of those chase down KOs like they did, but I think they probably could have made it work at least with one of those. They were able to burn down Ray. They have a good secure with overheat. Block Snorlax is really good at zoning members out, and you know they definitely had a window in that fight where Rayquaza could have gone down, but they just didn't have the damage on it.
Especially with Mean Look, I would have liked to see different picks. I think Mean Look, with either of them running the more damage build, they would have found more KOs, especially in that final fight, and then been able to rip the objective when they had the man advantage. But good games to Ground Zero. They are going into losers semis, correct?
That's right. They'll go to losers semis where they're up against
top 3, right?
That's right. They'll go into the losers finals.
Yes.
Yeah, losers finals. Let me pull up the bracket here. So Ground Zero is going to move to the losers finals. They're going to play against the winner of Legends Reappear and whoever else makes it to the lower bracket. Did see Dodo put up a good show into Antic, and they are 1-1. So these are both teams that Antic have taken down in UCS. Antic won in February against Fury in the finals, and then earlier in this tournament they won against Dodo. So both of these teams, if they want to have another shot at taking down Antic, they're gonna have to go through a really deep lower bracket run and try to see if we can catch this game 3 from Dodo as well while we wait.
Yeah, get in there. The winners finals player Saluwu is in the chat right now. Congratulations on that game, Saluwu. Fantastic Dodrio ult in that first game, helping your team get back into it. Excited to see. Oh, I probably will be asleep by then, I have to be honest. I gotta wake up for NA tomorrow, but good luck, man.
You're gonna hop off?
Not probably before it's done. I don't think I can stick it out. I woke up really early this morning. But I'll watch a couple more of these.
Cool. So we are in game number 3 of Dodo 2 versus Fury. Dodo dropped down to the lower bracket off the back of Antics and Fury started today in the lower bracket after their qualifier run. And this game, you know, a lot of Magikarp we're seeing in that top side, and Urshifu being picked on the side of Fury. You see Buster on that Urshifu. Just raw top side. They don't even have a 1-buff jungler to help them get out of this. And, you know, typically we see this Magikarp lane be kind of weak. But when you're up against a Kubfu, you know, it's just two guys splashing, basically. Nice Astonish to try to get some secure. And we're finally going to see some Hyper Voice. So a lot of objective damage this game, a lot of secures as well. Bottom side, there's a Blastoise defender and Venusaur who's going to go back into the central area to recoup some of that farm after that Sylveon just came up with this 1-buff. And yeah, I mean, looks like the OCE meta has evolved to be a lot like the Western meta. I think Antic Esports taken some technology from London, like you mentioned, back home, and these teams just being able to observe some international play. And they're adding their own spice with this Urshifu up here as well.
I was gonna bring that up. The Urshifu, I do like the draft. It's a lot of fun Pokemon that I like to see. A lot of very strong ones. I'm excited to see. It's probably Red Bear for some secure, but I could be wrong. It could be blue, but
There, you know, it's got to be red, and it is.
Red. Okay, so we've got the Red Bear. We've got the Meowscarada. If you want to jump over to Meowscarada, we can learn what moveset they are. I think they're gonna be. I'm gonna assume Trailblaze, but yep, Trailblaze.
Yeah, Trailblaze.
It's gonna give the DPS on the objectives needed, and I think Urshifu's gonna be the secure. It should be a fun Rayquaza team fight from both sides. I think both team fight oriented teams. Gyarados not evolving though is very bad for them. They need to just stand on the pad and hold down A and get that effort going. They need to evolve.
Yeah.
This is not great.
I think Urshifu not expecting the enemy team to just send people up and forego those central Artera that just spawned in 8 minutes. And Gyarados finally going to come online after that KO goes out, and Stu being able to be level 6. Petal Dance Venusaur as well. So another thing kind of being inspired by the international meta. We saw Kabi-chan play a lot of that. And there is a Hoopa portal not able to get through on the side of Gyarados. Good damage output coming in now. Fury's going to try to flip the script here and apply some of their own pressure. These Altaria are spawning. They've got that Wicked Blow secure. Gonna look for that. The Hoopa portal goes down. Is there going to be an Egg Bomb to stop it? A little bit off the mark. The Venusaur just able to get out Knight. And now Dodo's saying, hey, you know, we were able to get our reset. We're going to try to push. These teams both desperately trying to get their attack weight stacks going. Another Hoopa portal able to resolve. Was he not able to find these Egg Bombs? That's one of the things, one of the reasons why, you know, you want to be picking Blissey into Hoopa is for that interaction. And every time one of these misses, it's definitely a bit of a bane on the Hoopa or the Blissey player. So see, maybe they can try to connect some of those later on as Dodo's able to secure down this top objective as well in the eyes of an Urshifu. Level 9 on this Venusaur. They've got that Verdant Anger ready to go if they want to push. Regieleki able to walk in. I'm always shocked sometimes when these Regielekis walk in. Not that the teams made a mistake, but it looked like the Slowbro was there, and then it just kind of walked past him.
Last game there was one that was a little interesting. I almost think, I don't think talking about it. I think maybe Blaziken accidentally kicked it in. I could be
Last
wrong,
game, yeah, and I'm not sure. Maybe there's an Egg Bomb that pushed it in, or a Surf, or just sometimes it just, I don't know, walks past your whole team and just goes.
Another Regieleki prioritizing game. I'm not really sure what's happening in OCE scrims. Maybe they are seeing game snowball off of this, but now Fury's down here with a potential team fight, but hopefully they have enough XP to do so. Maybe off those Adinos they do. Gyarados ulting in, looking for their target, but Mew counter ults. Gonna not reset and just take the frames of invincibility, but Hyper Voice and Sylveon secure that auto objective. Dodo are going to push and get stopped by a fantastic Urshifu ult and Solar Beam combo to find and knock out the enemy Blastoise where they can ult. Gyarados is really low, bounce to get the shield, survive. Venusaur is popping off. Giga Drain, heal. They are okay, and they should be getting a lot of points here and a good overcap with that 28 from Hoopa if the Bumblebee doesn't stop them. Oh my goodness. Bumblebee ruining that overcap for Dodo.
Bumblebee
174 to 0.
Being a little bit of a paid actor there. not quite happy with Easter just going by, that they want to be in the spotlight as well. But I like the decision for these teams to prioritize Regieleki. I think a lot of the meta right now is defined around these stacking Pokemon, and Regieleki is a sure way to guarantee a couple stacks. As well, you know, when you're the team that has Hoopa, you want to keep your pads up, which means the other team's prerogative should be to break your pads. Easiest way to break a pad is with Regieleki. So I think the natural inclination is to just go for these early game Regielekis to open up the map, especially in these really competitive games. Is the second Regieleki does get stolen away from Buster on that Urshifu. And we see why Urshifu gets picked. It's primarily around its objective secure. As maybe we're going to see Hoopa get caught out by the Meowscarada. Nope, they got that Phantom Force to safety. And Fury wants to try to make something happen during this point of the game. Nice eject from that Blissey to get away. Burden Anger, Venusaur used as well. Just trying to burn out some of your Unite moves right now. 4-minute mark, you might be able to farm them back up. But all these Unite moves being used means that they're not going to be available for this basement Reggie, which is spawning in the next 15 seconds. So Fury, despite being down 200 points, they are up on the Unite economy for this fight. And if Dodo chooses to take this fight, they are going to be down 3 of their team's Unite moves, Sneaky.
They do not see all 5, so Gyarados did not come down. Buzz hitting the Blastoise ultimate onto multiple members of Fury, but the Regiseal's really low and it's going to go over to Urshifu with the Secure. Buzz going to maybe get KO'd here from the Urshifu. Multiple members of Fury jumping in and just going down to Petal Dance. Venusaur, Slowbro ults before going down as well. No KOs for the side of Fury except for that Hoopa. Not getting the XP they need. You also ulting, maybe a misclick. They were running away, but that Venusaur is very scary, putting Dodo in a high chance of finishing this game out. The team fight should be theirs at Ray, but we'll see how the rest plays out.
Yeah, not sure if anyone on the side of Fury has a Curse Bangle or Incense on this game to provide some anti-healing, but it is really important to have it into Pokemon like Venusaur, with that Giga Drain likely running Focus Band as well. And a lot of these damage healers are typical ones you don't see Bangle or Incense on. Meowscarada is one that can flex it a little bit harder with that Trailblaze build. Mew typically doesn't like to have it because they really require those damage items. For Shifu, much of the same. They need their core damage items, really. So I would like to see, hopefully, maybe the Slowbro pick up an Incense this game, or even the Blissey.
He's got an Assault Vest on, so I doubt it.
Likely not, yeah, not Incense as well there.
Assault Vest, maybe both, but yeah, you're right. It's tough because not even a really good Slowbro ultimate is going to help them find the KO. It is no Blissey though. If maybe they still could burst it down with the Meowscarada and Urshifu damage. They just need to find their target and then go for the flip with their better secure. Let's see if they can do it.
Yeah, having that Slow Beam and Urshifu Unite, those point and click guaranteed lockdowns while your team goes for a flip is definitely a popular strategy we've seen across all regions of Pokemon Unite. But to get that underway, you do need some kind of level lead or some advantage in the fight. Otherwise, you'll just get knocked out in the process of going for that flip, especially into things like Hyper Voice and Giga Drain Petal Dance from this Venusaur. But Fury, they got to make something happen. They're down almost 200 points. They haven't been able to even get on the board at all this game. As this Hoopa, this opening where they get that damage onto the Hoopa might be enough, but beautiful surf from the side of Buzz into Hydro Typhoon. But there is a Slow Beam that catches up the Venusaur. Not enough damage. Venusaur is actually going to end up going down. 3 members of Fury, though, caught in the chaos. They end up going down. Urshifu not able to find that Unite move. Stu with that eject bounce. And 4 members down on the side of Fury. This is Dodo 2's time to take down Rayquaza. They need to get this off the map. They don't want another team fight. Fury, Orion here trying their best to live. Can they find the secure? No. Good zoning on the side of Buzz on that Blastoise. And I think Dodo is going to find that surrender vote goes out.
Surrender.
And Dodo's going to advance to the losers semifinals where they have Legends reappear waiting for them. And the winner of that set will get to go up against Ground Zero, who's waiting for those 2 teams in the losers finals.
I liked Orion giving it their all there at the end. It looks like they were still going for it. Tough for Fury to lose that way. I would have liked to see that engage maybe 50 seconds earlier if they had knocked out the Venusaur and done the zombie tech as we've coined it. I think they may have had a chance with a flip there, with Venusaur having a 30+ second death timer.
There's a chance,
But-
but you're going into Blastoise with that Surf who can, you know, push you away. A lot of damage. Also, Fury, you know, it was an uphill battle for them. Their Mew ended the game level 12. I think Urshifu probably didn't have many attack weight sacks either. So, yeah, I think maybe if they look for that engage a little sooner, things could go better. But the experience disadvantage that they put themselves up against made it just a little bit too hard to climb their way back. I think if they're going back and reflecting on this game, you know, their lanes were pretty weak in terms of draft. Not able to secure down the early game objectives maybe as much as they would have wanted, despite having that Urshifu. And yeah, I mean, they still end up going top 6 in today's tournament, but Fury's going to end up going home. Dodo had a lot of things to write home about, though. They were looking strong. They gave a really good fight to Antic. Came down to game 3 in a relatively close game for Antic as well, as, you know, the favorites in OCE. And Dodo, if there's a team that can make it out of the lower bracket and give Antic a run for their money, I think it's Dodo. They looked even better than Ground Zero in that Antic matchup.
I did like the Venusaur was huge at level 13 very early on, even with both pads still up on their side. I think they were playing in Fury's jungle the whole game. They had a strong Gyarados player. I liked what I saw. A lot of fantastic Blastoise engaged at the end too. Even though they had taken the portal to reset, and then Fury wanted to go into the pit, he found a fantastic Surf, Hydro Pump, Hydro Typhoon to basically ruin Fury's chances at moving on.
Yeah, it's good showing, and excited to see what else they have. Let's see if their game not quite ready to go yet. How many OCE matches? We can pull up the bracket. So we have Legends Reappear is going to go up against Dodo very shortly. Winner of this set plays Ground Zero in the lower bracket finals. Winner of the lower bracket finals will meet Antic in the grand finals. And if the team from the lower bracket is able to win the first best of 3, we'll see a bracket reset where Antic will have to defend that reset and try to play another best of 3 to win. So we could see potentially 1, 2, 3, or 4 more matches.
Fantastic. Good metas so far too. Good preview for what we're gonna see later in all the other regions.
Yeah, I think teams are doing all right.
Nothing too wacky.
Other than the Urshifu lane, I think that was a little,
that was silly.
little silly.
Guessing. I like what some of the other top laners are running. I like the Machamp still. Maybe that could have fit in there.
Yeah, I think for me, I look at it as like you either pick one of the tank top laners, so Blastoise Tree, right? And then you have a carry somewhere else in the map, either in your jungle, in the bottom lane, you know, maybe you have like a Candle or a Guard, like a late game insurance Pokemon there with the tank top, or you have your carry top. I think the premier carries in the top are Blaziken and Gyarados. Outside of that, you know, obviously you can have things like Zoroark or a Speedster in the jungle. You can go for Dragonite to be your carry instead, and then you have that tank top, or, you know, Kabi-chan's kind of introduced that Venusaur top to have a bit of like that early game pressure there. So I think these are typically the picks that we see. Like I think teams are gonna want to avoid doubling up on their carries in the jungle on the top. Like one thing that we saw even that game was there's a Meowscarada that was full clearing the jungle and then an Urshifu top, right? And you don't have anything to get the Urshifu out of the early game. The Meow's not quite good enough. They both are pretty farm reliant Pokemon, especially that Trailblaze build. You want to be level 13. Urshifu needs every level it can get because it's just going to be taking a lot of damage. So a lot of those kind of clash with one another. I think the global meta in a way is defined around evolutions enabling some of these Pokemon, and then you having like some supportive damage dealers. Mew, one of the best Pokemon, just is flexible. It can be very supportive in nature, can be more coaching oriented and have some other carries take over. Mew scales really well in the late game as well. So if you want to just have Mew be one of your primary carries, that works too. But yeah, I think the evolutions really are the ones that set the pace. We haven't seen a lot of Espeon today. We see a lot of Sylveon, some Glaceon. I think Espeon got nerfed last patch, but it probably doesn't matter. So I would expect to probably see some of that throughout the day as well, if these teams want to take it up.
Yeah, what do you think post nerf? I mean, they nerfed that initial damage, but it still recharges just so fast, and Psybeam does so much damage and it's good secure.
It does too much damage. The damage, like the uptime on the damage, right? Like you can basically just press the move off cooldown in team fights, and the only real skill expression you have at that point is your spacing, like to make sure that you're not basically taking too much damage while you do that. And then the Psybeam just spreads around. So it means that, you know, just that constant damage output and the slows that you're spreading. Like Espeon, sure, it lost a little bit of damage and it sucks for the Espeon player itself, but Espeon's job is to set up everyone else. They don't want to be the star of the show in the end game. They want to bring like their Blaziken, their Magikarp, their Gyarados, whatever it is online, and nothing of those nerfs stops Espeon from doing that. To be honest, Espeon could probably get another, like it get its damage nerfed by the same amount it got nerfed this time again, and I don't think it would really change much on the Pokemon's playability.
Yeah, the damage looks multiplier went down by a little bit on subsequent hits. It's not too big though of a damage difference.
Yeah, and if not for Espeon, there's still Sylveon, there's still Leafeon, Glaceon
as well are coming real soon, and will be.
Yeah. In a way, it almost feels like Glaceon is one of the more balanced evolutions, like relative to its counterparts, only because, yeah, Glaceon's got some really annoying sources of damage, but at least Glaceon doesn't basically come fully online at level 4, right? Leafeon, Razor Leaf at 4, Solar Blade at 4, Stored Power on Espeon at 4, whatever Sylveon wants to take at 4. Whereas Glaceon, they have that resource mechanic, and they really need their level 6 to build up their spears, or their Icy Wind stacks, right? So yeah, I mean, Glaceon's still really, really scary, but I like Glaceon's like level curve in a way. Like you really need to hit level 6 to come online. I wish they could repeat that with some of the other evolutions. Like maybe, honestly, like if Solar Blade was a level 6 move, Leafeon would be such a healthy Pokemon. I feel like just those extra 2 levels are too broken.
I loved when it first came out and the Solar Blade was just in the bottom lane securing everything with one instant.
Yeah.
It's
and then they buffed it, and then they buffed Razor Leaf, and then they buffed Aerial Ace.
yeah. Is it still the most damage from a single move? Or
At level 4, probably, yeah.
okay.
It's
just so
got to be the
strong.
best secure at level 4.
Right. Well, overall, an EV, I kind of like the niche they hold, which is just like the early game stuff, but maybe that's not what they really need to focus on. But we're getting into another game.
We got
DR versus D2.
That's right. Dodo 2 versus LDR 1.
Oh, Dodo's already playing again? Wow, it's so fast. I feel like NA games take forever to get the next match going.
Yeah, in OCE, they're all on the same island, so it's a lot easier for them to communicate.
Yeah.
But this takes longer for us to get in because we have to go through the ocean.
There's not like too much public transport and stuff. That makes sense.
That's right. But Decidueye getting picked this game, so
That's what I was gonna say,
first Desi
yeah.
of the day. I like seeing this Pokemon. I'm a big fan. I feel like Desi, when it's strong, it feels really oppressive, but I really enjoy how balanced it feels. Like you need to get that level 7. You really need attack weight stacks. You're gonna see DC here be able to secure that with Water Gun, and they have a Snorlax invade actually going on the other side of the map. Can you find the secure with tackle, Manny? A little bit off the mark. There was actually a window where Knight could have stolen that away, but we see this Crossroad rotate up. They're gonna provide some support with that Rock Slide. X speed's gonna be just enough for that Snorlax to get away, and Snorlax gets away with that red buff. Criminal behavior. It was definitely a lot closer than it needed to be. But I like their game plan here. They've got that Snorlax invade, and they're trusting their Inteleon will find some far 1v2. If you look at DC's XP, they're actually gonna out-level their counterpart in the Mew, despite being 1 versus 2. That's all thanks to that early game Water Gun secure from Inteleon.
Yeah, it's a fantastic 1v2 lane there from Inteleon. I think Glaceon farming and then ganking top lane. Icicle Spears are online. 6 of them, or 8 of them, getting the damage off. I don't think they got the big B though. Kind of an even trade from both sides, and we're back to the jungle, farming up for the middle Altarius.
Yeah, LDR, they're not willing to just play the game passively. This is the second time they've gone for a jungle invade. This time DC on that Inteleon getting it. It looks like this is something that they've worked on before. The Snorlax Inteleon, just constant invade pressure, good last hit. Bellstring a little bit off the mark, forced to use their eject button. That's not going to be up for the mid Altaria now, but the rest of LDR is in position, and we still don't see this level 7 Desi. Normally you would see a Decidueye level 7 at this point in the game, that goes in that central area, but without their red buff and that blue buff that got invaded, it's not going to be enough. As they're forced to use their eject, but they're still going to end up going down to that icy wind pressure, and now LDR wants to pivot up to the top side of the map.
Yeah, the Decidueye pick not really working out for them right now. I would like, you never want to see your Decidueye jungle having to do Yeet Fan Tech to get stacks. They're gonna need to find some sort of advantage on the map. Maybe Regieleki here, as a few members of Dodo are up here. We'll see what side of the map they prioritize. They do have the Hoopa, as we saw that everyone was. If you had Hoopa on your side, they're playing Regieleki, so we'll see if that trend continues.
Yeah, I don't mind them playing for this Regieleki as well. Again, it's the easiest way to get stacks on your attack weight, and one of the most important things on Decidueye, if you are running the item, to be able to advance your character is through that attack weight. Is brilliant ratio on it. But Dodo's going to elect to just play on the bottom side of the map. They want to play more of an XP game. Their Desi does get hit by that snipe shot. Manny's going to find the heavy slam as well with these basic attacks. Steal away that berry. In the meantime, Inteleon's able to secure, and Manny just causing so much trouble. Forces this Decidueye into that portal, but Ethos is there with that Icy Wind Glaceon. And LDR just, they've been applying pressure from the first minute of the game with these jungle invades on the side of Manny, and they haven't let go of that pressure. And Snorlax, definitely a strong defender in its own right. We talked a lot about the balance patch and different Pokemon getting buffed. Snorlax saw some huge buffs to their block. If you look when they put up this block shield, you actually notice a big shield that they get now as opposed to last patch. So I like their use of it, applying really good early game pressure, not letting the Decidueye come online.
We'll see what they can do to try to have a teamfight advantage here. Mew's going to need the levels. We're going to look for a KO maybe down here on the bottom path. Getting rid of Glaceon passive is a great start. The Glaceon ult comes out. Knock Knock activates, almost finding the Glaceon KO. Couple resets from the side of Dodo to retake this pad, but LDR are here and they are defending, and it does not look good for Dodo.
Yeah, they got that reset off, but Xavi on that Blastoise had a nice engagement with that Hydro Typhoon right out of that portal. In the meantime, LDR also able to push the top side of the map, so they're up about 200 points here on Dodo in at about this 5-minute mark. And you see LDR constantly apply pressure, go to the enemy center area, take as many buffs as they can, and they don't want this Decidueye to be able to play the game. Taking down these pads from Decidueye makes it so that the Desi, when it gets dove, has no safe place to retreat to. The Snorlax wants to jump on its head. The Glaceon wants to use their Glacial Stage and run past. They're going to have all the space in the world to be able to do that.
We're seeing a lot of jungle invade still, even though Dodo have had a couple of both of their first pads broken for a while. They are still not able to farm their Adinos to catch up in XP. They're a little bit down. We'll see if at the end of the 8 minutes when Rayquaza spawns, if the XP is equal because of those Adinos and LDR not exactly stepping onto the other side of the map and invading those XP. Big Snorlax ult blocking all of Knock Knock, gonna still get KO'd. The rest of LDR getting engaged on by Crustle, unable to get out of the way. Reggie Shield's really low, quarter HP. Mew finds the knockout, and the rest of Dodo will be able to clean up and maybe get some stacks on the Decidueye. They've been waiting for a while. Glaceon goes down. Huge Mew KO, giving them a lot of levels there. This push is still going. Members of LDR have respawned at this point, and I think that is the end of the push back to their side of the map to farm. No stacks.
Yeah, Dodo, you know, they're able to find some knockouts, get the objective for themselves as well, and we're going to see Desi, who's struggling all game, at least hit that level 13. Like you said, there's no attack weight stacks. That is going to mean that they're a little bit weaker than their potential on this Pokemon, but getting levels is just as important. A lot of stat bonuses to be made there. And now if this Mew and Desi pair can both be level 13 in that Rayquaza fight, they'll have a shot at both contesting the team fight and the objective, as we might see Knight look for a steal. They're charging that Spirit Shackle, and that's purely just an attack weight differential there.
Yeah.
There's 3 or 4 stacks for sure that Regieleki goes their way, but they're forced to use that early as their channel was ending. Gonna look for another Shackle, good eject from Ethos, understanding that they are in a bit of danger. Mew still, though, able to find that boosted auto into Electro Ball. Gets that secure stew, chasing enemy members down with this both Curse Paint Split build, so opting to go for both damage moves here. And, you know, it is scary when a tree is running at you with that Paint Split Curse, especially as some of these backline Pokemon. And we'll see now that they've gotten some XP themselves as well, if Dodo as a whole can bring their way back into this game. They are 200 points behind, though, yeah.
That Trevenant ult is not online, and it's going to be a second. We also have... Levels have actually cleaned up exactly what I said, is access to all those Audinos. Dodo have actually been farming their side of the map correctly. They have recalled from fights when they know they are lost to go farm. The levels are looking pretty good for them. But they do not have those attack weight stacks on their Decidueye. We'll see if that even matters. They might be able to find enough poke damage with Mew Solar Beams. That is a level 13 Mew as well with a blue buff. Blastoise on the flank, though. They find him. They sniff him out. He gets a huge surf, but he has to flash to finish it off. Hydro Typhoon onto 3 members of Dodo. The Buddy Barrier from Eldegoss keeps him alive, but he walks out of the portal, doesn't get reset. Eldegoss needs to reset as well. Glaceon is quarter HP. The Rayquaza is starting to be hit. It is getting ripped by Decidueye. Decidueye flashes over the wall to make sure they get the angle. Snipe shot. Surf. Why are we surf? Why are we surf?
Yeah, Mew probably trying to set up a secure for Knight to be able to take it down with their Spirit Shackle. And Manny actually being the savior of that team fight. They recognized that Spirit Shackle was going to be the best shot Dodo had to win that game and win that Rayquaza. And immediately jumped, interrupted that channel, forced Knight to have to re-channel it. And in that time, there was a snipe shot on the side of DC ready to go to be able to snag that objective for themselves. So Dodo, while having a great start to that fight, being in an advantageous position after that Blastoise flank didn't entirely work out in LDR's favor. Manny able to rescue the day, stop that snipe shot, that Spirit Shock from going off, And, you know, it is going to be maybe a 500 to 0 point game for the side of LDR. But I think the points are a little misleading. Dodo definitely, you know, had a much better shot at this game than a 500-0. Just they weren't able to make it happen in the end.
Yeah, just a nice start to that fight. LDR not able to find the good LD slam. They were not able to just close out the team fight. They had to walk back. Dodo starts a grip and a fantastic snipe from Intelion. I actually don't even know where Intelion was on the map. I was watching what Mew was doing, and Mew swapped to Surf, unfortunately, and stopped.
Yeah, I think it was actually just a basic attack secure, not even a snipe shot secure.
It wasn't even a snipe shot? Gotcha. It does a lot of damage, but yeah, they once again, the lack of attack weight stacks on the bird, leading to less secure damage, and I think they did land a Spirit Shackle on the Ray, but it didn't look like it was enough damage to finish it off.
Yeah, it wasn't. They didn't get the opportunity to fully charge it. That's where that Snorlax came in and was able to really make do there. And I mean, to be honest, like the fight was a lot closer than you would have expected with how favorable it was for LDR. But like you said, there Dodo was able to retreat, take down those Indidis, get their levels online. They had level 13 Mew, 14 Desi in the end game. But the game is Rayquaza. Yeah. Rayquaza is the win condition for most of these games, and they weren't able to bring it down.
Another Dragonite ban. Interesting. Going from 1% ban rate at EUIC to teams banning it in the current meta.
Yeah, I think Dragonite's just a really, really strong Pokemon. I'm not sure if I necessarily agree with the bans myself, but I'm sure these teams have their reasons. It's probably a meta that's developed either during this tournament itself or maybe just throughout their practice after EUIC. I think Mew is the Pokemon that really enables the Dragonite. We saw Kabuchans really stick away from Dragonite and not really pick it unless there was a Mew. And it's just that early game coaching pressure, as well as those Pokemon kind of just very naturally synergize. They, you know, both have really good secures. The Mew is kind of that supportive attacker, whether it's coaching, healing with Surf, slowing with E-Ball, finding this long range poke to get things started. It just really brings that Dragonite online. So Dodo, they did get the Mew. They weren't able to make much of it though. And we'll see. I don't know if we'll see another Desi in this set because the Desi did struggle. I mean, he still managed to do a decent amount of damage, but I think a big portion of their early game being so weak was because the Desi's so vulnerable to getting invaded, such a liability in terms of getting those attack rate stacks online. Whereas Inteleon, we saw LDR, they just left it 1v2 and it was able to actually outfarm both the Mew and the Crustle down there.
Yeah, what a great secure on that water gun in that early game. Kind of setting up the rest of the match. Just small things like that, you know, giving you the advantage over your enemy.
Yeah, so we'll see if Dodo's able to bounce back and what they're gonna do in game number 2 as we wait for these teams to get underway and get in their draft.
All right, Ender, I've been up since 8. I'm gonna go to bed. I'm gonna try to be on. Are you want to do? You're doing 10 a.m. for Europe?
Yeah, I think I'll be up.
Or 11. You said 11.
11, yeah, for Europe. Cool, man.
Try to make it work. Sounds good to me. I'll see you later, man. Thank you for having me again.
Absolutely. Thank you for hopping on, bro.
Good luck with this. Yeah, good luck. Hope you can stay up and not be too tired. I've been up since 8 o'clock for work, so.
Makes sense. Yeah, I mean, I just been playing Pokemon Unite all day, so doesn't take that much.
That's work, though. It's work.
It is. It's been work. It's been work for sure.
Solo queue can feel like work.
It
definitely can.
It's worse. No.
Right, peace out, man.
Anyways, man, have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow.
Good night, chat. Bye.
Did Antic beat Legends? Antic didn't go up against Legends. Legends played against Ground Zero, where they lost. I'll show you guys the bracket. Here's the bracket. Legends dropped to Ground Zero. Dodo dropped Antic. So, and we just saw those teams go up against each other in game number 1. But it's the best of 3 in the loser semis. That was loser semis. I didn't correct that here. I found my glasses. And true, I did find them. But solo queue is worse than work, man. My worst enemy, I would not wish for them to play 20 games of solo queue a day. I found my glasses, my glasses. I'm trying out a middle part, guys, so my hair is a little awkward. But, you know, trying a little bit of a restyle. Isn't it crazy how there's like a light I can spawn from my hand? It's not even a flashlight, it's just my hand has a light in it. You know, I have this circle light, but watch this, right? I could just transform it into a square. Whoa. Isn't that crazy? I'm just holding light in my hand. Wow. Magic. We're just waiting for these 2 teams, guys. We're chilling. We're vibing. How many games am I casting tonight? I'm just gonna watch all of OCE probably. Well, we're gonna watch every OCE game. Who do I want to see win? I mean, probably Antic. Probably the Antic boys. But I want to see the team that plays the best win. Doesn't always happen, but that's what I generally want to see happen. Who would you say are the must bans for the season? Leafeon and who? I think right now it's hard to say. It's out after Leafeon, it's really just personal preference. I think Mew might be up there. Mew kind of makes, there's nothing like Mew, right? Espeon is really strong, but Sylveon kind of gets the job done in a way. So unless both of those get banned out, it's weird. Blastoise and Tree could be some bans. I think Umbreon might be strong enough to warrant a ban as well. But I think depending on teams' gameplay and like what their strategy is, they can choose different bans for different scenarios. Yeah, OCE gets 2 spots. 2. What about Crossel ban? Yeah, I think Crossel ban is fine too. For NAIC, can foreign teams participate like EOIC? They can in the final stretch. So not actually for the main event at NAIC. That's just their NA's regional finals being played out in person, whereas all the other teams will have their regional finals online. But there is a secondary event called the final stretch that will see the bottom 5 NA teams, the 3rd, the 4th to 8th place teams, as well as 3 potentially foreign teams. Probably it'll be mostly NA teams anyways, because the world spot you get from the final stretch isn't one that you get travel stipend with, I believe. So I think it's a big ask for foreign teams to show up to that event, but they could. Definitely, you could see maybe like the 4th place EU team miss their shot at qualifying through EU. They might just show up to the final stretch if they have the resources to do so. They could do it for sure. Well, game is started. And Sulu actually posted a picture. This is what they're saying to the other teams after waiting in the grand finals. Don't talk about us. Ground 0 makes sense. Damn, that's toxic. All right. So Dodo back at it again in game number 2 of the loser semifinals in the OCE April Cup. This game, they brought back the Mew, no Desi. They're going to go with Candle instead. But Dragonite makes it through the pool. So we're going to see a Dragonite Buzzswole getting picked up by Xavi. We saw them on the Blastoise last game. Manny was on the Snorlax. I think Manny played Snorlax really well. I would have liked to just see them pick Lax again. Like, the Lax looked so good. I'm a big fan of Snorlax, if you guys can't tell. Copygon, I think, really, really strong defender right now. Not to say that Blastoise isn't good, though. This Blastoise and Teleon bottom lane, definitely really, really annoying to be able to get any amount of farm. So, you know, double water gun. They get here on time, especially the Blastoise can redirect it with that water gun secure, and they're just going to get it raw with that Inteleon water gun. They have another water gun. They do. The water gun on water gun being used here to secure a lot of this bot side farm. On the top side, Dodo's the team that has a strong lane. Both sides, you know, a good all-rounder with a good range support is all you really need. And it looks like LDR were able to take a little bit more of that farm. So both lanes looking like they are winning. And level 5 junglers on both sides. So no evolutions. An honest game of Pokemon Unite, as I like to say, where neither team had an evolution to ruin the paths, and they really got to just play out the long lane, which we don't get to see much of anymore. And it's going to be Dragonite versus Candle, the two powerhouses respectively in both central areas. We'll see what happens to these Altaria. Overheat's going to be the move of choice for Knight. Typically we've seen Flamethrower, but I think Overheat's a fine pick to be able to put out some damage. And we saw the Mew rotate up as well, Tomwan, whereas LDR decided to keep their Inteleon up on the boss side to be able to secure as much farm as they can. As we see DC already level 6 on this bottom side, up 2 full levels for their counterpart in this Mew that's still level 4. And that's just that power of that early game lane and choosing to not rotate to be able to win over all that farm. And I think they secure that as well with the basic attack after their water gun, because Inteleon's going to be level 7 potentially as the bot lane Pokemon without any jungle split, ready to go for that central Altaria. They do off that double water gun secure once again. A huge Inteleon game. You're going to see Snipe Shot potentially able to secure mid if they need it. Meanwhile, though, topside Stu is able to get that pick onto Buzzswole. Going to open up the map for them to get 30 points into the top side. Another 10, a couple attack weight stacks. There's a Dragonite here ready to apply some pressure. Hoopa Portal just in time to take Stu back to their base, reset their health bar, They come back with that power up punch. They're still going to be chased down. Close combat resets that power punch. They're able to get out. And LDR, they've got the Eldegoss for some sustain, but they don't have enough resources to keep this push going. Altaria, just a couple seconds from spawning here. You see both teams just put all their damage into it. And Knight's going to get the better of those, just getting their level 8. Meanwhile, though, LDR, they've got their Dragonite online at level 8. DC, who's been playing really well in this set on the Inteleon, almost level 9. Now, you don't get to see this happen too often in games, where the bottom lane attacker gets level 9 for the first objective without any kind of jungle split. So, you know, definitely a strong game from Inteleon. That bottom lane, double water gun, plus just some good play, getting them that online there. Same time, though, LDR going for a bit of a weird play, knowing that 2 of their teammates are bot side, winning the map for them there. They elect to go for a push into a Hoopa comp, where they're going to lose some members of their team here, or they could have just potentially played a little passively. But Inteleon does rotate up. They've got that Unite move ready to go as well. Provide some constant sustain damage. Buzzwole looks for that engage. Just barely misses it. Knight uses that Candle Unite move. You know, we have full vision of the map right now, but LDR, anyone that got afflicted by that Chandeler's Unite move, was unable to see. They get blinded by that. And while they are able to pick up a KO with that Candle move, we see Ethos and the rest of LDR rotate up to defend that top pad. So not much going in the side of Dodo there. Couple good XP trades that they were able to make. I'm going to see these teams go back into farming. DC able to keep up, still level 10 now. Mew 2 full levels behind on that attacker. And Mew is a Pokemon that's really XP hungry as well. Just because, you know, they really need that late game stats and their move upgrades to get online and be effective. You don't want to see your Mew be underleveled this early into the game. But there's always a chance for them to come back. Couple good comeback KOs. If any other pads go down, they'll be able to farm the game back up from that perspective. As we see Buzz hiding in that bush, looks for that superpower combo, not able to find it onto this Lucario, who was forced to use their eject button there. When you see these teams again, maybe rotate up topside. The Hoopa team is up here. Manny gets Phantom forced out, surfs away to safety. There is that Lucario Unite move, forces out this Hydro Typhoon from Blastoise. That Hoopa portal is not for them, so they're actually going to end up going down as well off the Candle Unite move, which blinds and does some additional damage. 40 cap attempts to go in from the Candle. They get hyper beamed, and they might just have to resort for Stu to look for a smaller score. While it is attack weight sucks, it's going to end up being less points. Xavi ready to go, finds that combo onto Buzzwole, followed by their Unite move. Beast Boost gives them some speed bonus to be able to continue the chase here. Off the mark on that Smackdown, not able to get much done. Buzz here with that unstoppable Rubble Rouser. Recently saw a little bit of buff to that in the form of a bug fix. Nice X Scissor as well to pick up that KO onto the Buzzwole. And LDR forced to retreat here. They do have some good secures. They're going to end up going down. The Mew Solar Beam catches 2 Pokemon with the help of Knight on this Candle. 3 Pokemon. KO Streak of 3. Can you make it 4? Can Knight find the 4th one? They do. KO Streak of 4 from Knight, and that's all the XP that Dodo needed to get back into this game. Unfortunately, not enough of it went to their Mew, but Candle able to pick that up. 12.5 at the 4-minute mark, and now this Candle is going to be really, really scary for LDR going into the late game. See these teams rotate over. Candle able to retreat home with the help of that Hoopa portal. There is a Regieleki applying some pressure. Xavi unable to pick up Lucario through that superpower because of the close combat. DC is here ready to try to hold this down. Gonna sidestep that close combat, get some damage out. Able to defend this Regieleki successfully. And there is a Hoopa Rings Unbound on the bottom side of the map, but Ethos ready to Hyper Beam secure that. And nice little pair of objective plays from LDR, defending that Lucky and getting that bottom Reggie at the same time. Looking good for them. And yeah, these teams have got a lot of farm up. They got to get to their central area, these ball toys, jungle buff, Altaria and whatnot. We're going to see these teams get their farm on for a bit. Already level 13 on the side of Knight, 13 on the side of Inteleon. Mew, we did say was struggling throughout this game, but that pad break opens up these Indeedis. They got a couple of good comeback KOs as well. So Mew, who was kind of doomed this game, able to find their way back into the game. I think if LDR had not broken this pad and just simply played the game passively and around objectives, we would have seen a level 11 Mew in the endgame fight, maybe a level 12 Candle. And I think LDR would have just been able to swing the game open with that XP lead they had from winning their lanes. But they wanted to keep themselves in it from a points perspective. So they do break that bottom pad. It gives them some mobility to play around here as well. So they trade some experience in the side of a positional advantage. Definitely both are valuable to have, but it's going to be tough for them to be able to step up in this fight now that the Mew has some experience. Level 14 from the side of Candle as well, as we see Dodo just constantly applying some poke. But this is where the Dragonite can come in handy. Start damaging it down, bring in some Dragon End stacks. The enemy team doesn't respond. You've got that Hyper Beam and Inteleon Snipe Shot secure. Hoopa, nice stun from their Hoopa Unbound form there. Able to force out that eject button. Hydro Typhoon used as well. A lot of Unite moves going out. Lucario Unite move forced out. Buzzwole living just off of their focus man and the shields provided from their moves. Beast boost out as well. And Buzzwole, despite getting nerfed, still looking like it was definitely effective in this endgame fight. And with 4 members down on the side of Dodo, LDR, they've got the Snipe Shot, they've got the Hyper Beam. Can Buzz make it happen? Buzz as in the Crustle, playing the Buzz player on the Crustle. Not quite able to happen. And Dodo, for a team that looked strong against Antic Esports, that had a decent showing last game, they're going to end up falling 2-0 to LDR off the back of some really strong lanes. Well played game from DC on the Inteleon, able to secure a lot of farm on the bottom side. And that end game fight, while it was pretty close, Dodo just didn't have enough tools to be able to make it happen. That is a lower bracket match, so the team that loses does end up ending their tournament run. And the winner of this set, which will likely be LDR, is going to be playing up against Ground Zero, who is patiently awaiting them in the losers bracket finals. The winner of that set is going to go up against Antic Esports in the grand finals. For Eldegoss move choices, you got to think about it this way. Con Guard is never bad, right? Con Guard, just being able to instantly apply a shield onto your Pokemon is good, right? Like, it's never ever bad. Some games you can make the argument that having the additional stun can be helpful if your team lacks crowd control, if there's specific Pokemon you want to maybe interact with. But I think between Buzz and Blast, LDR had enough CC. I think the Con Guard's nice to have into Pokemon like Candle and Mew that are constantly applying damage. You can just put up a Con Guard every 10 seconds or so. You have some good damage mitigation into them. Yeah, I think Con Guard was fine. Well, that's 2-0 for LDR though. Unlucky rubber ducky for the Dodos. Yeah, I think Buzzwole, it's not the Pokemon that it was before the patch. Like, the nerfs matter. The nerfs definitely matter. It's a Pokemon that's much healthier to play into now, right? There's opportunities for counterplay. if you don't get picked off the initial engage. But if you think about it, pre-11, it's the same Pokemon that it was last patch. I think nothing about the Mon really has changed before level 11. I guess you can farm a little bit less muscle gauge off your combo pre-11, but that's not that big of a deal. That didn't even come into play that much. It's really after level 11, its ability to go infinite is what went down, right? I guess they increased the base cooldown by a second too. And they made the muscle gauge charge on SmackDown less. But all of that really just mattered to farm superpower resets. Now let's see where the next game is at. The next game is going to be the losers finals. It's going to be up against... Oh, I don't think I have any of these guys added. I mean, that's fine. We can just watch the broadcast. We can watch the broadcast when that starts. Or I could add you. You could, if you can add me, then that works too. Here, if you want to add me, boom, boom, boom. Is he smooth like that? True. Homage. Just got on his friends list. So smooth. You guys don't win, I'm removing you. Kappa. All right, what's going on? When are you guys playing DC? Get in there. D2 is out now. Manny playing Pokemon Go. What? Pokemon Go into the lobby. And let's go. You guys are holding up the tournament. Waiting for GZ to check in. Out. They're holding up the tournament. Ethos was too handsome. You can't call the other team handsome after they beat you, man. Where's the beef? Is everyone in OCE just a vegetarian? I see no beef. We want some drama. Everyone is chill. Let's all be friends. Chill. No. Gotta light a fire under their butts. No chillage. It looks like these teams are checked in. Game should be going. Game should get started soon. How do we beat GZ? What's the tech? I feel like this is illegal for you guys to ask me right now while you're waiting for your game. Because the thing is, I know the answer, but I can't just say it. Not like this. Go to the back rooms? No. Immoral? Maybe. Allegedly. Everything is fair in love and war. True. Someone had said that before. Allegedly. Allegedly. No speedsters from OC. We saw some Dodrio play. We saw Antic play some Dodrio. Other than that, no Zoro. Oh, we saw a Meow as well. We saw Meow. Meow, the Meow game, the Meow struggled though, I'd say. Glad to see Snorlax. Yeah, I like Snorlax. I'm a fan of Snorlax. I mean, the Night Slash got nerfed, but Pain Attack is unchanged, right? So made the mistake of buying Blaziken instead of Gara for solo queue. I think they're both good. They're both good. Mew, also very popular Pokemon. They're just all different kind of playstyles, right? Like if you like Mew, then you go Mew. If you like Blaze, go Blaze. If you like Gara, go Gara. They're all really good, especially for solo queue. I'd say both Gara and Blaze are solid Pokemon. Yeah, we're just waiting, guys. We're just waiting. Chilling and we're waiting. Best support in this meta? I would say between Eld and Hoopa. Really depends. Best change that happened in the patch is Buzzwole nerfs by far. Buzz was a monster. I'm glad that he got nerfed. He was scary. Isn't it unfair for Pokemon like Talonflame to have a passive like Gale Wings when compared to the other Eevee's passive? I think Gale Wings is actually not a bad passive. There's a passive you want to complain about is maybe like Gyarados, Pikachu, maybe even Greninja, but I think Gale Wings is actually a good passive for Talon. Makes it so you can run at the enemy team a lot easier for high HP, and I don't know, it's good. We definitely can't see all passives be Meowscarada level, right? Like Meowscarada passive is too broken. More Pokemon can't be at that rate. But I do agree with the general sentiment though that they should probably bring the passive powers a little bit closer to the middle. Maybe buff some of the weaker ones or nerf some of the stronger ones. But you should expect that some Pokemon are just gonna have better passives, right? That's how their Pokemon are balanced. Been a minute? It might have been a minute, true. I think there's something to be said that some passives are just simple in nature that kind of mimic their traditional Pokemon counterparts. You know, like Charizard, Blastoise, and Venusaur, they all have like their standard passives from the mainline games. And yeah, Blastoise is his damage and he's a defender, but I think Blastoise was designed to be like a hybrid defender, you know? Like more of a damage dealery kind of defender. mean, Lax passive isn't, I feel like, almost necessary with how big its health pool is early on, so it can keep up in the berries. My suggestion always for Snorlax has been that make it so every time he eats a berry, he gains permanent HP, right? So that at least like his passive, you know, scales into the late game. Like maybe the citrus berries gives him like 25 max HP. Maybe the Salic berries give him like 10. Maybe Greedent berries give him 1 or something, you know? And that Snorlax in the late game can just maybe have like an extra 400 or 500 HP if he just spent the whole game eating. I feel like that would fit the theme of the Pokemon and also make it so it actually has something useful. New map with new berries, that'd be cool. Did the old map had Salic berries too mid, right? Or did it not? I don't even remember anymore. Did it? It had 2, right? It had 1 on the sides. It didn't have the 4. Right? That's what it was? Yeah, it had the 2 on the center, the entrances. That's right. Yeah, I'd be down for them to add more berries. New map, new ranking, new emblems, major meta changes. Okay, but what about new berries though? Can we get some new berries? All right, looks like we're getting started. So we're gonna have LDR on the left side, DC back on the Inteleon, Eldegoss, Blastoise, Defender, Ethos on the Dragonite, and Xavier's gonna play maybe a top side Leafeon into Sylveon, Tree, Snorlax. I like to see Snorlax come back. Blissey and Joe on the Blaziken for Ground Zero, our right side team on the orange side. And we'll see how LDR decides to send these Pokemon into their lanes. Like, are they sending? Okay. I thought they were going to send 3 bottom for a second. Looks like the Dragonite's just going to mug his laner's XP a little bit. They're going to give the Xatu over to the top side. And the Dragonite might be able to hit level 5 off sharing some of that XP. Or maybe some back farm will secure them to 5. So a bit of an interesting lane choice. They do end up getting their level 4 on the Leafeon on the top side, be able to get that farm. It's also a top path tree, so Feather is going to pick up that tree. Jungle, Blaziken, and we see a Sylveon Snorlax on the bottom side. Already see a KO. The Blissey ends up going down on the top side. Feather might be in some danger as well. They're going to go down to the Leafeon here. Xavier picking up a KO Shrika 2. And Blaziken, who's stuck in their evolution, not able to stop that score. Joe is trying to get what they can on this side, not able to get much. We see that their Dragonite Ethos is also level 5. And Blaziken pushes those away, Blaze Kick, but Blissey's going to end up going down for the second time this game as Leafeon's already level 6. Nice Solar Blade onto the Blaziken. Eldegoss is getting low. Icy able to Palm Puff Synthesis way their way back to full HP. Another Solar Blade is going to connect, going to hit Joe once again. Joe's going to end up going down. More scores going on to the top side. If Xavier and Icy both can get healthy here, they might be able to look for a central area invade. This is very reminiscent of Kabi-chan's gameplay. They get that Dragonite Eldegoss into the enemy central area. Don't see the Leafeon follow them as well. but he's gonna be able to secure that with Dragon Breath. Eject button from the Blaziken. They're feeling like they can get this pick onto Ethos. Heavy Slam a little bit off the mark, not able to get it from that Snorlax. And the Dragon Knight is just dragon dancing straight to the left, pull to the left after getting healed up by their Pollen Puffer. Icy's gonna be able to peel away, keep their team alive. Oh, a little bit of a misstep, and then we see that Dragon Knight end up going down, and Icy not able to put out enough damage. You saw those Eldegoss nerfs coming in to effect potentially. Meanwhile, Blissey on the side of Ground Zero, still a Chansey actually, not a Blissey quite yet. Stuck at level 3. The jump head over from the Snorlax. Heavy Slam connects onto Manny. There's a Cotton Guard already online to help mitigate some of that damage. And he seems going to chill out for just a couple of seconds as these Altaria come underway. Hyper Voice is here, but Snipe Shot is a superior secure. Curse might be able to take down some of these as well. You see Feather rotate down quite early. They're going to get their level 7. Meanwhile, on the top side of the map, Ethos on this Dragonite and the Leafeon are already set up. They're going to have superior secure on this objective. Imagine they'll be able to take that down extremely fast. If Ground Zero wants to counter, LDR has some amazing secure tools on both sides. They have Hyper Beam, Solar Blade, and Snipe Shot this game. So wherever there's an objective, their damage healers are going to be strong at looking at these secures. Whether it's top side or bottom, Ground Zero doing a good job to zone out LDR, while they're also looking on the bottom side. Joe able to find the pick onto the Eldegoss here. There's a Snipe Shot, but Feather should be able to block that pretty easily. Meanwhile, LDR does capture that top Regieleki. On the bottom side here, Ground Zero electing to go for a push of their own. They are on a timer though. The longer they stay down here, the more likely this Regieleki pressure could go on the top side. Looks like they're just going to trade. Snorlax able to force that Regieleki to crash instead of them getting that break earlier on. Ground Zero trying to apply some pressure deeper into the map. They're going to be dissuaded by some of those Snipe Shots as we see Joe actually ends up going down as well on that Blaziken. LDR looking to advance on the bottom side. Not quite though. Not really looking forward into doing that into Tree and Snorlax, two excellent defenders at holding down pads. They're going to walk away, hit their farm. You want this blue buff on Dragonite. The reason for that is Dragonite gets that extra cooldown reduction. Means that they only need to do one basic attack in between Dragon Dances to keep that fully stacked up, as opposed to needing at least 2 in between each Dragon Dance without that blue buff. So you always want to see that go to your Dragonite. Red buff as well helps slow their targets down with their basic attacks. From range, Dragonite just a great Pokemon with these central area buffs. But they do get poked out quite a bit. There's a small beam, definitely didn't look like a fully stacked beam, but there's a Snipe Shot all the way from New Zealand. DC is able to find it and takes down that Blaziken in the enemy central area Joe found himself in. Blissey and I move, maybe misfires onto Snorlax there. Does end up actually helping secure down this Leafeon, so maybe it works out. Some damage redirection takes down that Blissey. They're going to end up going down, but some nice Snipe Shot sets up some of that damage. Hydro Typhoon as well. Finds that pick onto the Sylveon. They're going to try to convert this into another pick onto the Blaziken, who's going to be trapped here on the top side, but they're able to get those soft walls, get healed up. They're looking all right. As we see LDR versus Ground Zero, 20-point difference between these two teams, 25 points, so not quite a close battle per se, but the game is as close as generally it can get. Both teams, their highest level is level 12. See the Snorlax block away the enemy team. They give Joe the space to be able to take down this Regieleki all by themselves. We see the Trevenant Feather is going to end up getting caught and they're going to go down. Nice Heavy Slam block from the side of this Snorlax, and they're trying to push them off the Regieleki. Power Nap able to help them stay sustained, but there's just too much damage on the side of LDR, whether it's through this Dragonite, this Inteleon with their snipes, or the Leafeon damage output. A lot of really high damage Pokemon from LDR with some good secures as well. Feather as the Ground Zero top laner of this game, only level 10 at the 3.5 minute mark. Definitely a lot more under leveled than you want to be. You don't see Trevenant get picked a whole lot in this role, but it is a viable role for them. You do need experience. You can't be under leveled. You'll actually end up being too squishy even as a defender. But they are able to find that pick onto the Leafeon. Curse Horn Leech a little bit off the mark. They did get the Horn Leech reset, but they're going to use that to retreat. Still ends up going down to that Hyper Beam. And that's just that being level 10. Extremely underleveled. Even extremely out-leveled by the enemy team defender in baddies at level 12. Excuse me. And DC in the bottom side, their Snipe Shot gets met with a Calm Mind from Mew. And we're going to see Sylveon be forced back. There potentially might be a third Regieleki if the spawn timer comes up. 8-second difference between game clock, Regi clock. We'll see if either one of these teams wants to take the gamble on burning down this objective. Likely we'll see both teams get in position for mid. As if LDR gets enough space to burn down Rayquaza, they have 3 excellent secure moves to be able to take that down. Icy, though, does get discovered by the Snorlax, able to X-Speed out into safety. And Ground Zero, wow, does end up losing their Sylveon to a full long-range Snipe Shot. Excellent Snipe Shots being powered out. Hydro Typhoon from Manny sets up that Hyper Beam from Ethos on the Dragonite. And 2 members down from Ground Zero. This is where LDR is going to start the objective. They know they have the superior secure. If anyone does come close to contest, they can zone them out. But they got that Hyper Beam, Snipe Shot, Leaf Blade, whatever they need to be able to secure. Well done by LDR in game number 1 against Ground Zero. And Ground Zero looking a little bit lost throughout this game, whether it was in the draft or in the early game laning phase. They're going to have to do a lot of adjustments if they're going to want to have a good shot in game number 2. I mean, they do have the Australian snipers here in OCE. Doing pretty good. I think if I'm Ground Zero and I'm in that game and I looked at what LDR did to get here, I think it's time to just respect ban this Inteleon. They're gonna have first pick in their next game. Ground Zero will, that is. Ban away the Inteleon. Force the enemy team to ban Leafeon, be able to first pick it. I know Joe's played the Leafeon before. If they can get their hands on the Leafeon, good. If not, whatever. Ban away that intel. And they won. Ground Zero did win the March Cup, right? The last tournament in OCE did go to Ground Zero. And it came off the back of them using some unconventional picks. They picked things like Scissor, right? We saw Joe play Scissor. We saw them play Aegislash. Feather was on that Aegislash back in March. And Aegislash got some sizable buffs too. I think maybe getting LDR off their comfort zone from what they've been playing in this tourney, and then Ground Zero leveraging some of their picks might be a viable way for them to be able to come back into the series. I think if they're going to meet LDR in a similar draft in game number 2, I really don't think they stand a chance. Take a look at the damage numbers. 111k from the Dragonite. Mew did put up some good damage on the Sylveon. I really think Ground Zero's game though was lost to the top side, right? They had a Chansey for the first 3 minutes. They have a really weak lane up there into no help from an evolution. Like they do have an Eevee, but they sent their Eevee bottom and the Blaziken full cleared in their jungle. So they have a weak lane top with no support to be able to help, while LDR did some clever jungle clear. They gave the Xatu over to the Leafeon. The Leafeon could hit level 4 while not taking up too much of the jungle. And the XP that the Dragonite lost from giving up their Xatu, they sacrificed a little bit from the bot lane. So basically the bot lane donated some XP to the top lane to get this Leafeon out a little bit early. But I like their distribution of resources there to help their Pokemon reach their power spikes. I'm going to see Ground Zero need to do a little bit of that as well. Maybe be a little bit more creative. They are going to pick something like Sylveon. Can they do it in a way where the Sylveon can be on the map level 4 immediately? Joe is able to still be able to find their level 5, and then Feather can also get some XP and get online. If not, it's going to be much of the same in the next game. Let's put LDR up 1 game to ground 0. And remember, these two teams, the winner of these teams is going to be set to face off against Antique Esports in the grand finals. Who's waiting on these teams, guys? Is there a bracket reset? You'll know if there's a bracket reset. Oh, I mean, there is if you guys win. But it's up to you to make it happen. Still gotta win one more game though, buddy. You're going up against the reigning champs, Ground Zero, Joe and Feather. Don't get ahead of yourselves. What are we learning today? We're learning Pokemon Unite is a great game. I think Buzz is still as threatening and competitive. I think it's a viable pick still, but I don't think it's as threatening, no. Oh, this is Ender University. This is Ender University in the cast, you know? We're in the casting booth. Do we take notes or we get the recording? You know, the recording will be up. Don't worry. You don't gotta take notes. You don't have to take notes, but you should always be taking notes. Never stop taking notes. Whoa. Scary light. Oh. We are waiting for the teams. Writing things down helps you retain things better. I mean, for some people probably, right? I'm not much of a writer downer, but I remember stuff through other mechanisms. You guys might think it's a flashlight, but it's just a light in my hand. I'm literally holding light. See, there's no flash. It's just light. I've literally been able to absorb light. I'm a light bender, actually. Same thing, you know? I want to make a fist. It's just light, you know? That's it. It's just a... There's no flashlight here. Look. It's just light in my hand. My eyes? Oh, sorry. There you go. Do we get extra credit if we predict who wins? Yes, you do. ever use a green shirt? I did like a couple weeks ago. I was just a floating head. You missed it. I became a Geodude. Looks like they're in game, so we should be able to watch them very soon. They're probably just drafting right now. The Wizard of Oz Day, exactly. Are all those books in the background Gengar tech? Those are my studies, you know. It's the Encyclopedia of Pokemon Unite. Every Pokemon is one book. I've read every single one of them. Do they have anything particular different from their meta that's interesting? Interesting, sure. Good, I'm not too sure. I don't know. I saw an Urshifu get picked, and it went raw top. I do think there's a lot of really good Inteleon players in OCE. And they're making it work, like both on Antic and on LDR. How do you stop sucking at this game? Maybe stop playing Leech Life Buzzwole. How do you stop being bad at this game? Try not having a gold badge, you know? Try having no badges. That makes you bad. Our game should be underway really soon. How can you be good at playing this game? I think if you get a good night's rest, that can help you play better. That could make you good. Guys are taking their time with the draft. Was there a remake? What happened? Oh, it should be soon. There we go. LDR DC back on the Inteleon too. Cool. So LDR up one game in the losers finals. Winner of this set goes up against Antic. They got Trevenant, Blastoise, Inteleon, Glaceon, Eldegoss. Up against Ground Zero, Feather on the Sylveon, Umbreon Snorlax. So it's going to be a support Umbreon this game. Dragonite picked up by Joe, and a Decidueye. We've only seen one Desi so far tonight, and it wasn't a losing game by Dodo. See if Mew is able to pick it up. Battle of the snipers. Generally, Inteleon is the better sniper in the lane. It's got the higher damage output snipe shot. The one weakness it has is its snipe can get blocked, whereas Spirit Shackle pierces through its enemies. But we see that early game advantage going to the side of DC, that water gun just being the superior secure. And another piece of farm. This one actually ends up going to the side of Mew on the Desi while they were trying to look for a KO on the Snorlax. Not able to find that there. On the top side though, we see Feather. They were able to actually, looks like, get that red buff. They shared that jungle and were able to apply some pressure on the top side. Ethos looking to full clear out their jungle. They've got that Icy Wind online. So we'll see how these teams advance. Bottom side, they are playing really aggressive with this Decidueye Snorlax lane. I like the Decidueye, you know, despite not having a good last set in their lane, they are using their superior auto attacks and possibly a muscle band. It'll get some extra damage. Joe's gonna gank the bottom side. They want to get this Decidueye attack weight stacked up, and DC ends up actually stealing away some of these Altaria. They get their level 5, and that's enough room, just enough room for this Desi to get their first stack of the game. Meanwhile, Ground Zero playing defensive top side as well. So nice early game advantage for Ground Zero, able to make it happen. That's what I said. They wanted to have a good chance in this game. They needed to get creative with how they're clearing their jungle. This game, they use that Sylveon. They've got this Snorlax invading as well. In the meantime, the Mew actually ends up going down on the bottom pad off the side of a Trevenant and Inteleon push. A little bit unfortunate that after they were able to get such a strong early game start, they end up giving it completely back away to the other team. So LDR back in the game now with that trade. They also have priority on the central area Altaria as well, that Ethos is going to be able to take down. And let's see. Umbreon is the support choice this game. Weakness of Umbreon is that you need that level 6, right? Eldegoss, they have healing straight out the gate at level 1. They get a second healing move at level 4. Their level 6 just furthers their supportive capabilities. Whereas Umbreon out the gate has no heals. And it's not until level 6 that your team gets a healer, right? So you spent the first 2.5 minutes of this game without a healer so far. Umbreon's a strong Pokemon, but is it strong enough to warrant that? It's tough. We still don't have this Wish online. We will out of these Altaria. But in the meantime, Feather is taking a lot of critical damage. They're going to end up going down. Focus Band forced out on the side of Umbreon. We finally have that Wish. So they have an adequate healer for their side. But it did come at the cost of some early game disadvantages. Decidueye on the bottom side, they're scaling up. They're able to match, mostly stay on par with the opposite sniper. Both the snipers are about 8.5. Top side, we see a Spin Pump Blastoise contesting over this Dragonite, and Dragonite's gonna Unite move in. They've got these Hyper Beams online with the Dragon Dances. Desi moves up here as well. They want to get some more attack weight stacks, break this top pad. Nice little 2 KOs that the Dragonite picks up. 43 is going to go to the side of the Desi, who's got a couple stacks now. LDR on the other side, they've got that bottom pad under control. They want to get this 23 plus 40 in for a nice overdunk, as well as make it back in time to defend the top side of the map where there's a Regieleki underway. Nice block though. Is it going to be enough to walk the Regieleki? It is. Regieleki doesn't find the aggro onto the Blastoise. Beautiful block, X speed. Those block buffs coming in handy. Extra movement speed you see on that block really made the difference there. Walks in that Regieleki. And now we're going to have a 6-stack Decidueye for this endgame fight. LDR in trouble. Snorlax is blocked, but he kind of used Gion on me there. It's messed up. Mystical Fire Sylveon. They're able to break down this top pad. So now that means that the final Regieleki of this game could potentially walk on the enemy home. Hydro Typhoon you use to try to bring down Feather. Feather has their Fairy Frolic to be able to invulnerable that. They're on 1 HP. Can the sniper find them in the bush? Pollen Puff, the support sniper, and that's enough to be able to sniff them out. In the meantime, Joe is able to get out on the side of the Dragonite. Knock knock use from the Desi. They're knocking on the door. Free is running away, and not quite enough. They're gonna end up going down. Ground Zero, they've got the point advantage. They've got the XP advantage, the stats this game. Everything's looking up for Ground Zero. So this top Regieleki, though, they're not going to be able to burn it down in time to give them that checkmate Regieleki in the late game. It's going to go down here. There's going to be a 6-second differential between game clock, Regieleki clock. And I don't think that 6 seconds is going to be enough in the late game for them to have a third Regieleki. Looks like Ground Zero is saying, screw it, we're just going to push with this raw Regieleki at the 4-minute mark. I don't know if that's going to be very fruitful for them. They are set up on the other side of the map, though. Just trying to get any micro scores that they can and apply some pressure. Block off the pad, does catch out the Horn Leech. Manny not able to retreat, but does have a defensive Woodhammer they can use. Heavy Slam, though, does come online, sets up that Spirit Shackle. Power Nap use as well, and they know that the Blastoise is stuck home defending this Regieleki. They've got that 4v5 advantage off the side of that block, and Ground Zero able to put in almost 100 points here. They've got a 300 point lead. All of LDR's pads have gone down this game as well, and Ground Zero looking like they're not ready to go down without putting up a fight. They're saying that we want to have the chance to be able to play Antic in the grand finals. We saw LDR actually say, oh, is there a grand final reset, assuming that they were just going to win this game against Ground Zero. If this game goes 1-1, it's effectively a best of one that'll separate both of these teams from making it to the grand finals. And this is an important grand finals. These teams are fighting to be able to have a point, not in terms of in-game points, but championship points, because they want to be able to fight for their spot at being able to qualify for the world championships. And we're going to see Blastoise end up going down. And 20 seconds left before Regieleki spawns. They're trying to bait out the passive off this Trevenant, who does lose their passive. Another Heavy Slam block. Another find by the Snorlax Spirit here, but Eldegoss forced to use their eject as well. And looks like both teams going to retreat. Pressure is on LDR to make something happen, though. They're down close to 300 points. They've got no pads up. Their levels are looking all right, but they're going to need Rayquaza to come back into this game. Going to start off by the Hydro Pump, Rapid Spin Blastoise. Xavier taking a bit of damage. They lose their Focus Band to that Hyper Beam there as well. They're going to end up getting quite low. Nice Hydro Pump, though, onto this Umbreon. Umbreon's going to get chained down before they can use their Moonlight Prance to be able to escape out of that. 2 KOs on the side of Ground Zero. They end up going down. Snorlax Power Nap forced to use out. And Talion does get chased down, so DC is going to go down. That's their primary secure on the side of LDR. But LDR needs to be able to take down Rayquaza in this 13-second window that they have. KO Shriek of 4 for the Blastoise as Dragonite goes down. Feather elects to just skip across the map. They get 50 points on the enemy home. And now LDR, they get the Rayquaza, but they need a lot of scores to be able to make this happen. We're going to see Icy run to the top pad. They have 41, so that doesn't give them an exact the ability to re-break that. Icy does step a little bit too forward, finds themselves in that speed flux zone. They should be anticipating the enemy team from being there. They have to play it a lot slower. They still have a full shield, though, on the side of this Trevenant and Glaceon, so there's still a good chance for them to come back into this game, but they're gonna need to get 2 more scores. There's a top pad up for the takings. They need to set up their team to be able to get across. Nice block on the side of Snorlax. Horn Leech through, just trying to power through, trying to make a down here. They do get their 10 points. Glaceon's got the Icy Wind. Can they get onto the pad? The passive triggers allows them to go invincible for just a second, but it's not quite enough. And on the home pad, though, there is a Blastoise with the 100 cap. Wavy gets it. It's still a 20-point game lead for Ground Zero. LDR needs to find some scores to be able to come back into this game, or a game 3 is going to be forced out. 10 more points from the side of the Trevenant, but it's not quite enough. Can they find more points here? There's a 50 trying to go in from the Eldegoss. Horn Leech away from the Trevenant. They've got 17 points. Power Nap being used. 26 goes in for the side of Xavier on the enemy home pad. They're going to retreat home as well. 38 goes in. And LDR, through just razors thin margins, able to clutch it out. Ground Zero not able to capitalize on the massive lead that they had. And LDR is going to take game number 2 and stamp their trip to the grand finals, where they're ready to face off against Antic Esports. What a throw, guys. You know what they say. Some wise guy one day, had said, not every game is winnable, but every game is throwable. I'm not going to say who invented it, but someone did. And yeah, this is a good example of that. Ground Zero had complete control of the game. They were up by a huge amount of points. They had the level lead. They had the attack weight stacks. They had everything, but they couldn't get the Ray down in time. They couldn't capitalize. In the end game fight, they got quadrad by the Blastoise. Their team fight just wasn't strong enough. The Umbreon getting caught out was where it all started, right? The Umbreon got Hydro pumped away into the Horn Leech. They weren't able to get their Unite move off. And LDR, they found the opening there. They recognized that they had one pick. They just had to keep the pressure on, and well played by them. Umbreon throw. I mean, you could. There's different ways to say the same thing. All right, guys, I'm gonna hop off. I am obviously very tired. If you guys want to continue watching the grand finals, I'm not gonna just leave you out to dry. I will link you guys. Kelosaurus, they have the OC final stream going on there. You can watch them there. If you're on Twitch, I will raid you over there. But yeah, I need to get to sleep. I can't be yawning. Yeah, have a good night, guys. Thank you all for watching. Little part 2 stream, little cast stream. I'll put some of these games up on YouTube as well, if you guys want to be able to rewatch them in the future. W stream in the chat, never forget it. Every stream's a W stream. If it's an Ender stream, hopefully, sometimes allegedly, aka therefore. Have a good night.